Yeah, except that when I buy it from my friends, I don't know what he puts in it. I'm sorry. I don't know how he grows it and everything. You can put some fucked up shit when you grow weed. You can put your weed on hormones. You can use like low tier ingredient, or you can literally add some shit to the final product to make it worse. So yeah, I'm willing to pay like higher price to know that like the quality is there first of all, and not even talking about quality, just the fact that it's safe for me to smoke it. Like how many kids do you see that like end up like on spice and shit because like they thought they were buying weed and they end up, oh, I think that was like recently weed laced with like fentanyl.
Welcome everybody to this Sunday edition of the Hippy Dippy Recruitment Show, hosted by moi, this guy, the conservative main boss, right? The guy that's been here so many fucking days now that it almost feels like a fun house. That's right, because tonight we're going to be talking about a topic that has been very near and dear to my heart, right, for this whole past year that I've been participating here in the Twitch politics community. So, Danabo has saw fit, right, to censor me by making me the fucking host of this topic. Out fucking standing. Which means that I'm going to be sitting back critiquing everything that y'all are saying to the nth degree, and we're going to be doing a review of this particular VOD on the stream at some point afterwards. So please, I want to be able to laugh in the future because there were some memes that were just great. So does everybody else in chat when they're sitting there reviewing it with me again. So, what we're going to do now is first understand that there are some rules when participating tonight, right? Do not say any TOS words. Don't fucking be hateful, right? But if you want to fight amongst yourselves, you know what? As long as I can hear what the fuck you're saying, I'll fucking allow it. All right? Next thing is try to stay on topic, or at least make sure that the conversation is being directed towards the topic. Otherwise, why in the fuck does anybody bother trying to think of things to talk about? Right? And third thing, if you hear the... Wait, Geek, are you actually debating? Oh, wow. Geek is debating. This is going to be hot, y'all. Fucking... The mad Frenchman, we've let him out of his cage. He's going to be debating tonight. I hope y'all are fucking ready. So with that, we're going to start going around the room. We're going to get introductions from everybody. Brys, tell me a little bit about yourself and where people can find you in 45 seconds or less.
All right, I'm Brys, but my Twitch can be accessed by Brys.live. It just leads directly to my Twitch. It's a whole lot easier than trying to spell out Brys Benedict. I'm a Canadian paternalistic conservative, also known as like a progressive conservative. I love capitalism. I think it's based, but I'm also progressive in a lot of different areas. And yeah, I guess that's it.
Nice. Next, we've got KayBuckOph. KayBuckOph, take a minute and a half or less to tell me a little bit about yourself and where people can find you. Muted. See, I knew that was going to happen. That's why I gave her a minute and a half.
I'm like sitting here talking, didn't even notice why you said it like that. I'm KayBuckOph on Twitch and everywhere else. You can follow me there. New to the political side of Twitch, and if I'm not here, I'm playing New World, or my new recent addiction is Ark.
And where can people find you?
KayBuckOph on everything.
On everything, y'all. I haven't found what the everything website is yet, but I'm sure to look after this.
Yeah.
Next is a fan favorite around here, right? Montreal player. Take it away.
Right, fan favorite. That's debatable. Depends what night, right? Anyways, twitch.tv/Montreal player. Politically, I'm a localist. What does that mean? Come to my stream to find out. I have chill 1 hour chats, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Basically, I smoke a joint and try to have a nice chat with somebody. So I can cool off at the end of the day. I have a very busy life, and this is people mock each other for touching grass. This is what I do to get the fuck away from grass. Okay, and I'm fucking serious here. Anyways, that's it. Hopefully, we'll turn this very serious topic into a bunch of jokes. Yeah, have a good one.
Nice. And next on the list is Mr. Geek. Mr. Geek, tell us who you are, where we can find you, and a little bit about yourself.
Womp womp.
Oh, wait. Oh, we're just getting up in the middle of this shit so that I have to change the order. I see how this is going to go tonight, right? So Rhyzohm, is it Rhyzohm?
Yeah, whatever, man. Rhizome is how I say it. Rhizome, you know.
Rhizome.
I accept rhizome as an accurate pronunciation. That is
see,
the
like
second.
when I see it, I think ohm. You know, like from electricity, right?
Yeah.
Rhizome.
And then you add that nice rah on there, you know.
It's almost like a different kind of Rico law. It's just like Rhizome. Rhizome, take it away.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I just do a lot of cozy, critical, and philosophical commentary. I like to watch shit, talk about it with my chat, try to dig up some more serious stuff for us to talk about. We get into political memes, philosophical memes, all that good stuff. The bio on my channel says, just hoping to leave the world a better place, basically. Just trying to leave this trash heap we found ourselves in a little better.
Nice.
People can find me on as Rhyzohm on Twitch, YouTube, places like that. And yeah. If you're looking for a cozy commentary, come on by.
Nice. Appreciate that. Oh, did you find time for me now, Mr. Geek? I see you got on that nice swag now, right? So why don't you tell people about the swag, a little bit about yourself, and you know, so forth.
Hey, listen. I've seen the swag of the host. I've seen the swag of the guest. It felt inadequate, you know, like I had to change. So yeah. Hi, I'm Mr. Geek. I'm usually the host, but this time CTV stole my spot. But yeah, happy to be here. Hope we're gonna have a good time. You can find me on twitch.tv/mrj2ek. Don't watch it. I do editing. It's boring as fuck. Go check all of the wonderful guests that we have tonight. And yeah, that's it for me.
Nice. Now in the bottom left corner, we've got Robe Man, right? Robe Man coming in. He's been recently active on other political panels, such as actually not even political, but other venues such as Marvel Me with Your Bullshit or Be Disconnected, right? Robe Man. Besides that, tell us a little bit about yourself, where we can find you.
Attention gamers, introducing the Sauce Daddy himself, the good-looking, money-making, Twitch streaming, heartthrob hunk, the one, the only, Robe Man.
It's your boy Robe Man, the man with the plan, the one who's going to take your girl to a island. Welcome, everybody. You have joined a very special show. You get to watch me do what I do, and that's do everything you can't do. I'm glad to be on the panel. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to dunk on all these goofballs that are about to really regret what they've done tonight. Thank you for having me, CTV.
Nice. And look, last but certainly not least, we've got the man that has faced his fears and come out stronger on the other side, right? We've got the insert catchphrase here, ParadigmShift. How are you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing wonderful. It's good to hear your voice again. I'm happy to be here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, in 30 seconds or less, the easiest way that I can explain things is I like to make things a little bit simpler. Find the underlying context, because we can easily debate over what really happened in the world around us, but some of us don't use our eyes, so let's use our heads. I try to make sure everything is, easily explainable so you can de-radicalize your friends from thinking that, you get it. We do a lot of stuff. We have a lot of fun here. We try to create memes. We try to do games. We try to do poetry. We try to do art. I express myself. And I want you to be able to have a place to express yourself as well. You can find me at twitch.tv/the_paradigm_shift. Please let them know to give me back my name. I hate the underscores. Thank you.
Danimo, you sent me a DM, and if you want to do something, you can hop in here, bro, because I've got my own plan in action right now. You're trying to distract me, okay? Now, we know why we're all here, right? We're here to argue some points, right, and have a good meme conversation. That's the whole fucking point. I love it whenever I'm sitting here about to have a fucking aneurysm trying not to make a sound, but it's very obvious like that my stomach muscles are twitching from how hard I'm fucking laughing. It's fucking outstanding when that happens. So, for the first fun topic of the night, we have the following. We're 2 weeks into 2022. Did you make any New Year's resolutions this year? And have you given up on them already? Are there any New Year's resolutions from past years you've ever kept? And I'll tell you what, we're going to start this room out in the bottom right-hand corner with ParadigmShift. Take us away.
Ooh, 2020. Have I made any resolutions? No. I have been completely dissuaded by the system of resolutions because every time I set goals for myself, I feel like I like to see the progress in front of my own eyes, if that makes sense. I usually don't get a chance to do things as long as I wish I had the ability to actually put my time and effort into things. Life gets in the way. It don't really matter though, because I was like, I'm gonna get bigger on Twitch, and I got bigger on Twitch, and I'm happy for that. Like, yeah, so I did that. I think I'm more of like your goals are continuous no matter what day it is, and you should live for the day, not for the time.
Nice.
Yes, put that on a t-shirt. Every time I end an opening statement, it's automatically a catchphrase. It's on a t-shirt. Just, here, I'm giving y'all money. You go ahead.
Uh-huh. Okay, and next on the list we got Roadman. Roadman, thoughts?
The only, New Year's resolutions that I've been thinking about this year, I want to be a little bit less cocky. I think it's really starting to make me look a little bit goofy, but that's okay. That's what I do. Another one I have is I'm working on my rhyme game. Really want to get my freestyle game up to its full potential. If you watch Marvel Me with your bullshit, you can catch some rhymes. We really are going hard in that. Just pretty much trying to get my Twitch game up. Come to my Twitch channel if you're looking for a fun follow. Just want to pretty much get that going real nice and, get myself rich here. Other than that, just keep grinding, going at what I'm doing.
Nice. Rhyzohm, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, I really like what you said. Pragmatic shift or paradigm shift, paradigmic shift. What is your name?
Paradigm.
Yeah, I like what you said about goals are continuous. I think a lot of the times when I set up my goals, I'm never where I think I'm going to be a month later, right? In terms of my mental state and like where I'm at in that goal. So my goals are kind of emergent. And right now it's more or less just like trying to like keep my momentum going. And like I'm in a good clip right now. So that's about it. But I like Roadman's goals too. Maybe I should start taking up some freestyling, and we can go head to head.
Mr. Geek, take it away, sir.
All right. First of all, I need to start by saying that, something I forgot during the intro statement. Danabo started a channel called Top Chin Clips, where we got clips of streamers and stuff like that. So go check it out. You got the link in my chat. I think he will post the link in the group. There's a bunch of stuff. You'll see. And as for my intro statement, new resolution for 2022. I would say better script, because as you know, I'm the ghostwriter of Dylan, so I'm writing all the drama that's coming. So we got Vosh versus Hassan, we got Destiny getting banned, we got, I cannot talk about this one, but yeah, currently we're the infrared versus Dylan. That's going well, but yeah, we're moving and shaking in the background. So yeah,
nice.
More of that.
More of that. Nice. Montreal player. New Year's resolutions.
I don't set goals. I have systems though. However, I guess I can set directions. Direction number 1, get this family of mine that is blossoming from teens into adults to function as a more cohesive unit. Because things change and you don't have the same relationship with kids than you do with your adults. Build out my community's food grow up. We have this nice little project, and we still work at that all the time, trying to basically get off consumerist corporate foods tit, one garden at a time. And that's it. And building out this Twitch project. Yes, I am working on it. These are the 3 things I'm working on diligently and completely all the goddamn time. And that's it. Will they succeed? Who knows? But the important thing is I'm doing it.
Now, I'm not sure what's going on, but your mic is actually clipping a little bit. So I just want to bring
Oh,
that to your
shit.
attention.
All right.
But yeah. Next on the list, we have KayBuckOph.
Made sure I'm not muted this time.
Mm.
So for my New Year's resolution, I feel like a lot of people make like a obscene New Year's resolution. I'm going to go to the gym every day. I'm going to lose X amount of weight. I'm going to eat healthy. And they make these things, and they're like, all of a sudden, no, New Year's, I'm going to completely change my entire lifestyle. And that's just, it's not realistic. It's not how that works. So I've decided to go with the singular word that means the most to me and that I think I need in my life more. And I chose consistency, whether that be in Twitch streaming. Once I started streaming, I told myself I'm going to stream more frequently. So I've started to do that. Whether it's in my relationship, I want to do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to be consistent with that. Things around the house, be consistent with it. And as long as I can achieve that, I feel like I've completed my New Year's resolution. And I feel like it's a more obtainable goal than I'm going to lose 50 pounds. Like I could just say consistency, and I want to consistently try to do something in that way to lose weight. So whether it's cutting out sodas or cutting out alcohol or something like that, I could say that I'm doing those things rather than just saying I'm losing weight.
Nice. And Bryce, New Year's resolution.
Nope. New Year's resolutions are cringe. I don't think they really ever work. If they do, it's kind of like that one-off outlier story. I don't have any New Year's resolutions this year. I think it's just a matter of having a good lifestyle where you're making gradual, consistent changes to try to improve yourself by like questioning yourself. You want to like do some internal review and see like what in you can you improve on a consistent basis. Kind of like smelling your armpits. You know, you want to be able to sniff your armpit and see if you stink, and do the same thing with your brain and general lifestyle. So I think it's good to have. But for me, I think probably short, medium, and long-term goals. Those are probably the gist of it. And generally speaking, I think it's better to try to get bigger, stronger, smarter, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Nice. Well, a one-off story is right here. I'll tell you mine before I open it up to the floor. My New Year's resolution for 2021 was to start streaming, every day through the week, right? And be consistent throughout the year, right? So Kay has the right idea of staying consistent. You go back and you look at the numbers. I've kept that New Year's resolution all year long. I think it's the first one I've actually set and kept for my whole fucking year in my life. This year, I set another one, and it's to learn video editing, right? So that's it for me. That's what I'm going to be doing. I was looking at Adobe Premiere last night, thinking about, jumping into that. I had a couple of people suggest some other programs, so I'm looking there too, but we're going to be doing it, right? Going to be. Either way, we're going to be doing it. So anyway, the floor is open. It sounds like Bryce was the most contentious motherfucker over here saying it was cringe, so it seems like a 1-on-7 situation. This should be fun. You guys got it.
Yo, CTV, real quick before y'all get started. If you're really serious about learning video editing, that is my profession, like where I make my most money. I would not mind making tutorials to answer any and all questions you have. I know that's not, but like I'm being serious. Like if you really want to do that, I hate all the YouTube tutorials out there. All them shit's so boring. 14 minutes of hi, I'm the greatest guy ever, and here's why I'm sponsored. Like I could just answer your questions.
Apparently, Kermit the Frog is giving these lessons too.
I just want to ask Bryce. It just seems a little cringe to me that you don't have the will or just the ability to hold a New Year's resolution. I think what that shows is that you might have
the problem with your statement is that it's
past.
not a matter of willpower. What the actual situation is that you're firstly using my word cringe, which is just kind of sad. You should be able to be a bit more creative in that. The problem is that it's not a matter of willpower in the moment to hold like a singular thing. What is a real matter of willpower is being able to change your lifestyle as a whole on a gradual basis, being able to make consistent changes on a regular basis. Just because you're able to make like a one-off New Year's resolution isn't an indication of willpower. It's an indication of a one-off. You need to have the consistency to be able to show that you have the willpower across the board.
To me, you just sound like a contrarian. You sound like the kid in class who like
How
would
is
tell
that
the
being
teacher that the
contrarian at
homework
all?
was
Can
due.
you elaborate on what you mean by that?
You know, you
being
just sound like you're
contrarian?
not a lot of fun,
Nothing.
really. You sound like you don't have fun at parties. You sound like you might sit in the corner and watch
Wait,
everybody else
this is
have fun.
complete segue. You just said that I'm a contrarian. I asked you to explain why I'm a contrarian, but now you're saying something about me
it's
being at
proof in the
parties?
pudding right here. You got about 7 other people telling us all about their New Year's resolutions, and then you used the word I believe was
No,
cringe
I
that
don't
we're
think
gonna
that
talk
was
about tonight.
entirely 7 people talking about their New Year's resolutions. You might want to watch the VOD again and try to check that.
All right, I'll let the floor go to someone else because I'm gonna get upset.
Bryce, how do you know that you might be meeting your goals? Like if you're making these gradual incremental changes, how do you know when like you've met that end that you were seeking?
Because if you're talking about like a gradual change of different things, you identify something singular in the moment, right? So let's say it's like springtime, you're getting ready, but you're not really as fit as you'd like. Then you want to say like, oh, I need to go to the gym. And obviously from that entire like internal conversation, you realize that I need to have an end goal, right? Of some kind, even though it may not be like the end all be all goal, you do want to be able to be in a state next spring that you can take your shirt off and go to the pool on like Roadman.
That would be the be all end all goal, wouldn't it?
No, not
This
necessarily.
sounds like a new you
end-
resolution, though.
You
Not a
you
new
ever-
year
you ever
No, that's not
resolution.
really
Well,
like a
it
New Year
fucking makes you
resolution, right?
depressed.
That's like a matter of you can have it framed in a way that you're trying to be stronger in general, like more functional strength, and maybe not necessarily trying to be super cut. And maybe not somebody's end goal is actually to be a bodybuilder or like a Lord knows what, like some kind of like martial arts instructor. Like there are all kinds of different ways that you can transition from fitness and like having like some kind of a sculpted aesthetic or like a physique.
So
And it's
you're
not
going more off of like what I said, like having like more of like a term to achieve. So like rather not be like losing weight, you're saying like strength. So like overall strength, like in your body and like your work and your life, stuff like that.
Yeah,
you
and
know
I
what?
guess
You know what
to use
sucks
an
about
example
goals?
of strength.
Nope.
No, go ahead. No, I just talked a bunch. Go
You know
ahead.
what sucks about goals is that they depend too much, entirely too much on luck, right? Your circumstance and stuff like that. You set a goal, right? And I guess you set a goal as if everything's going to be ideal or things are going to go off without a hitch, right? And that rarely ever happens. Maybe you can
Of course.
control certain circumstances, right? But that's why I prefer systems. What you want to do, it's kind of like you want to build like a net to catch fish or a sail to catch the wind, right? And luck is that wind or those fish, right? And if you build that system, right, so that it takes advantage of those opportunities when they come along or certain opportunities when they come along, and that's how you move yourself forward, right? As opposed to just saying
Hey.
I'm going to get there. It's more like I need to build a mechanism or a machine or a system or something to catch those luck wins, right, to get me to where I want to go, right? It's a healthier and actually it's actually a more effective way of building your way towards something. This is coming from
Bryce?
someone who's built a business or two in the past.
It's also like the same idea of like preparing for the worst, but it's expecting the best or whatever, or expecting the worst, but preparing for the best, whatever the way the saying goes. So that like you're prepared for when shit hits the fan, so you know how to fix that, but you're obviously hoping for things to be better.
No expectations, no disappointments.
Yeah, that,
Bryce, I
that
just
as
want to
well.
say, if you want me to take my shirt off on this Twitch stream, we're gonna get flagged for TOS for sexually intense content, and I don't think anybody wants to have to see that happen.
I don't think that's what we get flagged for, but
What?
listen, whatever makes you
What?
feel better.
I felt like I was just violated with that statement. Like,
Right?
like
Nobody wants to consent to seeing
we had
a,
like there was a
a grown
whole
man that
other-
looks like a small boy.
it was like this
Apparently,
whole-
underneath Robe Man, there's Commando Man.
Well, Bryce said that I shouldn't take my shirt off on stream. I just wanted to clarify that if I do take my shirt off, the sexual content that you will be exposing to Twitch will get TOS.
Hmm.
So,
Isn't there a
Roadman,
word
you were
from the
challenging
Twitch streamers that's
Bryce's.
Wait, so
applicable here?
Bryce was
Oh.
trying to hit on Roadman? Is that what I just heard?
A common
Yeah.
thing.
So,
You saw all the
Oh,
money I was
okay.
flashing in my
Hey,
intro.
don't get jealous. Don't get jealous.
No, I'm not jealous at
equal
all.
opportunist.
Everybody wants me in this room. Okay, it's obvious.
Roadman, how can you prove the strength of your willpower? You're over here calling Bryce's willpower into question. How do we know if your virtue, man?
Well, I'll show you his. I have a ring, which definitely takes some willpower. That is a wedding ring. I also have.
Oh, so you cucked yourself.
I have a bunch of.
see.
I just have a bunch of money just laying around, like it's not even a big deal, which shows willpower.
that your wife gave you.
My wife did not give me that. If you look, I am artistic,
Actually, wouldn't it show
creative.
willpower to put
I have
that
a
into
sailboat.
way
Does
that
it
you
matter
can
if
turn
his
that
wife
money to make
did
money
give
for
it
you?
to him? That's the question
Also,
I've got. What does
I'm
that
quite
fucking
curious.
matter?
Shouldn't you think that it's
does that
better
matter?
to put that
Can we
money
not be,
somewhere
like,
that makes money for
financially-
you?
can't we like share financial stability like in a relationship? Is that wrong to do?
Yeah.
That's completely
No,
acceptable.
he had to make it. He had to make it himself.
He's over here relaxing on his wife's money. I just want to ask you a question. I
Go ahead.
want to ask you a question. Just show me one of the hundreds. That's all I want to see. Just show me one of the hundreds.
I'll show you. I'll show you a couple. I'll show you a couple of those, Bucko. How many you want? You want to borrow one, dude?
Damn,
I
those
just
are
need it
real.
back.
Damn.
He pulled out 3. He knew exactly
I
what was
got
coming.
fake
He
money
pulled
over
out
here.
3. He pulled out 3. All the rest of them, you know what I mean?
We got a 50. What else you want?
Oh no,
Yeah,
he's got
that's
different
correct. Only 3.
denominations.
Only 3. Now
Those,
it
what
goes
do you
down.
need, buddy? Listen, this stream is not about how much money I got. This stream is about other things. So let's move on, please.
Let's be real. We all know that the FBI is tracking all the money, and as soon as a large portion of it starts gathering in one place, that they start breaking down doors and shit. Okay, we know how they are.
And Roadman's like, look at all the money I got.
Hey, come by, feds. I'm ready, dude. I've been ready for these feds. Let's go.
That's what I say. That's why he only had like 300s and 20s, right? Because he doesn't want to keep too much cash in one place.
Or at least show
Jeez.
it.
Yeah.
I wanted to follow on what you had said, and I wanted to ask Kay a question. What's the point of creating goals if you could just create markers to reach one goal? That's a crazy ass question.
That is like a good idea, but a lot of people when they do New Year's resolutions, they just think of like one broad idea that they want to achieve by the end, or like what they want to achieve. And normally it's like this first month I'm gonna go to, like, a lot of it's like weight loss and stuff like that, which is like the most common ones that people do. So they're like, I'm gonna go to the gym every day, and then they go to the gym every day for a week, and they're like, this is terrible, my body hurts, because they didn't work themselves into it, and they're like, this sucks, and I'm not going back. So like they last for like a week or two, and then they're done. There's people that obviously have already started before the end of the year, and they've worked themselves into it, and then they're already at a point in their life where they can continue to go as many times as they want, as long as they want, and their body's used to it by now. And so they achieve their goals better than the people who started on New Year's Day and were like, I'm gonna do this. Like, it's just, you have to find ways to work yourself into it, and most people don't take the time and actually create an idea like checkpoint system of like, hey, by this day I'm not drinking soda anymore, by this day I'm cutting out this, by this day I'm going to be going to the gym 2 times a week, 3 days a week, like stuff like that, like working it up. They don't do that. They just say they're going to do one big thing, and then they end up failing because of that.
So how do we expect anybody to have willpower if like none of that is ever outlined in our upbringings?
Well, that's a bit of a segue. I think the thing here is that New Year resolutions tend to be built on like some kind of fantasy and like an idealized version of ourselves, where they're like, oh yeah, like I can do this, or like I will become this, rather than something where it's more gradual and more like in your day-to-day life. That means it's going to be based around things that you can try to approach more realistic, intermediary goals, right? So when she's talking about like weightlifting, right? Or even just like general exercise, the experience of DOMS is something you can like get past if you like slowly work at it, do it like go maybe like 2-3 times a week, and like work your way into going like 4 or 5 times a week. And something like the New Year's resolution, if you don't immediately start seeing results from your like idealized, the idea that you have of the results, the completion, it's really, really easy to fall out of the habit.
Right. Short-term goals, I find, are actually very useful. Very short-term goals, something easily achievable. You can kind of like you can see it, you can see the results as long as they're reasonable, right? But you can kind of tack those on, and they're good, especially for people like me who have ADHD or something, right? Lists are just such a key. So just tacking up short-term goals that kind of go in a certain direction. A, they're easy to achieve, but B, they force you to. They force you to try to achieve them. I mean, if you take them up, right, they force you to try to achieve them, and that kind of expands your repertoire in flexing your muscle in I guess a short-term direction. Now, your goal, right, depending on what kind it is and what you're ready to deal with, might or might not fail. Okay, but as long as in achieving that short-term goal, you've gained tools, you've gained experience and stuff like that, then the experiment, whether or not it pays off or not, is a payoff. So yeah, short-term goals.
Yeah.
So
So
effectively,
it's really interesting that you
both
bring up
believe that
short-term
life
goals.
is the.
So
Sorry, so I was going to say. So both of you
it's okay. Yeah, you can go
generally.
for it.
So both of you believe that life is effectively the first level of Mario.
In what way?
I don't get that reference.
So
Yeah, sorry.
damn. So the game's creator said that instead of like having a tutorial where they explain the game to you and how you can defeat enemies, how to do it, like whatever, they just throw you into the game and you have to press every button to figure out how to get out of your first situation, or else you just die repeatedly. You have to jump. Like, you would rather people go through like the trials and tribulations to figure out how to build up towards being able to beat the level than just being given a tutorial and saying, or a main goal and saying, here, get from point A to point B. Because
Well, I think there's ways they can
it's just-
achieve that. They just need to look for those tools and equipment to be able to do so. And a lot of people don't.
Okay, yeah, that was it.
I can agree. I
Yeah.
think my answer to that is yes, because when you look at the like models of learning that humans have in psychology, you have live, social, and symbolic. These are some like the three primary models. So it is an authentic way for people to consistently learn and actually reproduce what they're learning.
Right.
And I think, like, to Montreal players' point, I think the point or like the idea of like short-term goals is really good, but you also need to know that, or like what we should teach people is that goals need to be structured differently depending on if it's short, medium, or long, because you don't want them all to be like more or less copy pastes of each other, but you change a few words around, because that's kind of setting yourself up for different problems or like failures.
But I think going off what Paradigm said of like the idea of both having the tools and not having the tools, and then going through like level 1 and just dying 100 times, and that's life. But like, I think honestly, like most of us can say that we learn from our failures, like, or your mistakes. Like, you take a mistake and you're like, oh shit, that fucked me up. Like, I'm not going to do it that way again. Or you end up keep doing something stupid. Like, you touched a fire and you got burnt, and you didn't realize after the first time that fire's hot, don't touch it. And the next time you go over and you touch it again, and you're like, fuck, yeah, that still hurts. Like, probably shouldn't do that again. Maybe after the third or fourth time, you might get the hint. But like, sometimes you got to go through those processes and figure out like, hey, yeah, this isn't a good idea. Stop doing this.
Yeah, the type of
So,
learning you
I got
get
a
from
question for
steak
you
and
guys,
no
though.
steak is entirely different, and teaches you entirely different things, and filters out filters out totally different profiles. Sorry, go on.
So yeah, no, it's okay. Let me just ask you guys, when's the last time any of us met any of our goals? Because I feel like some of us are just going around trying to feel better about being procrastinators, and like, it's okay to procrastinate. Like, isn't it
I don't
okay
know
to
that that's a really smart thing to, because how well do you know any of the people here on the panel? Because it's not really that smart of a thing to chuck out as an accusation when you don't.
Well,
really
that's
know
why I
enough about
asked the
people.
question.
That's
So you could-
exactly
you could
why I
answer.
led. Yeah, that's exactly why I led the conversation with my goal was to start streaming every day, right?
And he did it.
And you can go to Twitch Tracker and see that I accomplished this fucking goal. So there's at least one person in the room that's done that.
Very true. Yeah,
I
that's
wouldn't
why I
say
asked.
mine-
Like,
and I don't
the
feel like I
question
need to have to
was-
flex my successes and things like
I
that.
wouldn't say
because-
mine.
You don't, Bryce. So the question was, when's the last
but-
time any of us met our goals? You could just answer that.
Okay, just this past fall, just this past winter.
Cool. There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I
Cool.
wouldn't say mine was like a New Year's resolution, but like, I have depression. So I was like, hey, you're going to learn to get up every day and go take a shower and get ready. And so for a month straight, I did that. And once I achieved it, it made my life a lot easier. Later on, I was able to continue to keep doing it. I've fallen back into patterns again, so I have to work on it again. But it's a process of achieving that goal and maintaining it.
So,
Anybody
Yeah, I feel like for myself, I've moved into I moved away from goal setting just because I found I'm really bad at like thinking I'll know what I can get done. And like, I agree with what Monty is saying about like more micro goals, but I've just sort of moved into a process of like using my like own mental sanity as like a check of how I'm doing and how I'm feeling. And if I'm feeling pretty good, then I don't know, if a goal doesn't really seem like a necessary thing, really.
That's the biggest thing. As long as your mental health's in check and you're happy with where your mental health's at, then all your goals are useless at this point. Like, they may help you long term with your mental health, but if like your mental health is fine and stable right now, there's no need to push yourself into a bad mental health state to try to achieve a goal.
And I think a lot of us can get stuck in this mindset of like trying to constantly improve on ourselves and feeling inadequate through that, you know?
Well, it
Yeah,
depends on what
getting your
you're
head
trying
right
to
should be
do
level
as
1 in
a-
Mario.
It depends on what you're trying to do as the self improvement, right? If you're trying to be like an uber mensch, like a Superman, then you're probably going to set yourself up for, like you said, mental health trouble. But if you're trying to just identify the places through like sniffing your own armpit, that analogy, then you're probably not. You're going to be able to consistently just check we're either like, oh shit, like I stink today, then you realize like, oh wait, I don't actually stink anymore. You know, like so this is how you know when you either are making progress in the goals or if you like achieved your goal. And I think having a hyper fixation on the goal completion is probably not a great thing. It's more about like the journey and the progression
I think
rather
there's
than
also a lot of goals that do like detriment your mental health though. Like if you're on a weight loss journey and you're trying to go through this and you actually have like a health condition that doesn't allow you to be able to do this, then you're going to keep fighting. You're going to keep trying to do this shit and you're going to be like watching everyone else lose all this weight. Like let's say you and your friends make this pact to go to the gym and they're all losing weight. They're all shredding it down in seconds. And you're like, I'm doing more than you. I'm eating less than you. I'm doing everything I possibly can right now. And I'm still not losing a single pound.
Oh,
And then your mental health is going to hurt so much. And then like when you finally get that like, oh shit, it's not me, it's my health, like I have a health condition that's not allowing me to lose weight, you're going to be like, oh my god, I feel so much better. But a lot of people don't take that time to actually go and be like, hey, there's something wrong with me not losing weight. They're just going to keep going for months and months on end until they literally are destroying their body.
That's something, I don't know, maybe that's something I learned, but it took some doing and some getting older, right? Is to not compare with what not compare with people beside you are doing. You're in completely different environments. It's not a fair comparison. I know it's easy because it's visual, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. But it's just it's not something you have to. It's not something you can allow yourself to do. You're spending mental energy, observing these people, right? And it's not to learn. It's not to learn how to achieve your stuff better, right? And which is the only real way to observe people. But I forgot where I was going with that. Yes, for the win. Fuck.
I think setting goals is a very important thing to do. I think as you set goals, you will motivate yourself to continue to be successful. I think people who fail their goals and are discouraged from that, I think you need to take a step back and go, okay, I failed. That's not a bad thing. If I continue to set goals and I follow those goals, write them down every day, you kind of just pretty much put that into existence. Me, myself, I try to set a goal every day when I wake up, try to make sure I'm doing something that is going to benefit me in the future. You got to think long term. You got to have a 4-year plan. If you continue to that, you will be successful.
But
4-year
if
plan?
the roadblocks you don't know of are blocking you from doing those goals, as Kay just said, and there's nobody to guide you because you have to fail, so you have to learn what works and what doesn't. And since everybody's situation is unique, what is the point of setting goals?
No, you have to fail.
Wait,
that's correct. As you fail,
you do have to fail.
You will fail, and that's okay. You get up the next day and you keep going. If you let one failure,
then what path are you following?
You're following
What
a
path am I
random path
following?
until you find a formula that works.
exactly. You continue on.
Listen,
You
if
push
you're
forward.
in a
You
situation
persevere.
like what Kay suggested, that's why you reach out to like support networks, right? And thankfully, I
but-
don't live in America, so I live in Canada, where we have
That's
social
not
programs
fair.
that benefit
you
us.
win by default.
It all makes
Fuck
sense
you.
now, Bryce. It all makes sense. He lives in Canada.
but-
I knew there was something wrong about you, buddy.
But isn't there longer wait times for most of that stuff?
Oh, here we go.
For specialized,
Yeah,
for
the wait
specialized
times are
things,
insane.
yeah, there is longer wait times.
So I may have to pay
Before-
for mine, but I can get in like next week if we weren't in a
All right,
pandemic.
but then
Like-
that-
I mean, in
That's
most
not
places,
the
you
thing,
so
the
in
thing,
Canadian
though.
healthcare, you can still pay to if you want to.
Yeah, you can
there's
pay
still
private.
like private clinics. Yeah.
Oh, y'all got fast passes? Y'all got to skip the lines?
No. It's
If you're
just
rich,
that. It's just that. Yeah, basically, if you have money, okay, there's a public system. Unfortunately, there's a fucking waiting line, and they have limited resource for you. But it covers some things, right? But anything chronic or anything
Covers
like that,
most things.
if you want, yeah, all right, practically, anyways, if you want something involved and they follow you all the time, and it's like it's an involved process, public might not have a little time for you, and private's the way to go. Anyways, I'm not gonna. That's not
You
what
can
we're
also
here
go to the U.S. So a lot of people that need like
A lot of
particular
people go to
specialized
the
care,
US,
because
yep.
when you look at like a healthcare analysis, the U.S. is like one of the leaders in like specialized healthcare, but in terms of like comprehensive like general practitioners and care like that,
yeah, we lack those.
obviously public, yeah.
I think the issue we run into with this kind of thinking of like goal setting, though, is that like we start to treat our lives like a mathematical equation. Like if I do X and Y, then I get Z.
Yep.
And that really is not like, I think it can set people up for that sort of like comparison of like, well, look at this guy or this person who did that. And also, I think like just by the way that our brain tries to make sense of the world, it can set us up for failure because we'll think that something's wrong with our approach and maybe not consider other probable variables that played into it. So I don't know. For me, it's like there's good and bad that comes with goal setting. It reminds me of like pickup artist shit or like Sigma grind set shit where it's like I get up every day, write my goals down, eat my wheat thins, then I go to the gym. And while I'm at the gym, I listen to NPR. And it like that doesn't work for everybody. And I think some people might have a hard time understanding what works for them when like that's what's shown to work all the time.
Real quick,
You listen to NPR every day? Ooh, yikes! All right.
real quick, I just wanted to ask one thing, which is, who here like January 1st or like New Year's Eve is like really like serious of like seriously thinking about this, like seriously like setting their goal and like
Like spending time beforehand planning out this goal that you're going to achieve for the New Year's.
Yeah.
not really spending time, but just like taking this seriously, the idea of like New Year's resolution and stuff like that. Like this is January 1st, this is a new year, I'm going to do this and everything. Like, is that something that like, because for me, I'm going to admit I'm a lazy fuck. So for me, I'm thinking of this like for 1 second, and even before I'm finished like setting up my goal, I'm like, fuck it, and I'm already gone. But yeah, I just wanted to know like
I think it's just hard because a lot of people do the whole new year, new me. I'm going to be a completely different person. Like all you like shitheads, I'm going to leave you in the past, blah, blah. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to make my life better. And then like half of that occurs. And then by the end of the year, they're back in the same patterns they were. And they're like same thing again. Like it's a never ending cycle of like, I'm going to lose all these assholes. And then they're back in those asshole groups. And then they're like, oh, well, let's do it again. Like, but it's like that's what a lot of people end up doing, and they make it like the petty, like the same like cringy New Year news me. And it's like that's not how it has to be. You could be the same person, you could do the same things, but like just better yourself in some way, shape, or form. And it doesn't have to just be on New Year's. It could be any day of the year. You can change that.
So I guess maybe the question to kind of I just want to center things here, right? Was because Brys was saying that New Year's resolutions and any type of thing was cringe, right? Bad idea. I felt like Roadman kind of kicked it off from there, right, with the argument against, and it seemed like the rest of the room was kind of on the side of Roadman. So the question that I have is Brys, has your mind been changed?
No, so I think everyone's on my side because we were kind of talking consistently about not framing any of the changes, goals, or whatever around the new year, and instead framing it around just like a general lifestyle, right?
Yeah, maybe it's good for people to at least have one kind of cultural reminder. Hey, you know what? Maybe you should set a small goal for yourself once in a while. You know, this is a good reminder. Everyone has to do it. I mean, look, this new year, I can't tell you what you should do. I'll tell you what my wife and I did, you know, somewhere in the week or two leading up to New Year's, you know, we sit down, we have a nice time and we say, so what are we going to do now? Like, where do we go from here? What would you like to happen? What would you like to happen in the near future? Right? What can we achieve together? And that's it. That's our process. And we ask our kids the same thing. Sit down and kind of just ponder this question, and then kind of set a course. You know, set a course to some far or maybe medium, you know, range destination. Okay, and see how you can use your resources to make it happen in some way.
Okay, so is that true? Is the rest of the room kind of over there with Brys now, and Roadman's by himself? Is that where we're at with it?
No, I think people
Bring it
aren't
on,
mentally
baby.
equipped to set goals for themselves that are realistic. It can lead to harmful outcomes.
But if they're
for
not
them, and I
mentally
think that the
equipped, isn't
practice
that
is-
just an indication?
Oh,
that we need to teach
I
them
didn't
skills?
realize that you were talking right now, Brys. I didn't recognize that. You want to go? You want
It's
to go?
okay.
You want to talk?
I'm a new voice.
Oh, okay. So, anyways,
go
yeah,
ahead. Okay,
I
go
think
for it.
that there's a lot of people who don't know how to set goals for themselves. They're not in a place where they have the mental health needed to start thinking about what's going to like need to change in their lives to be at a certain place. So I think that like the pressure societally to change themselves or to set goals for themselves can be really harmful. So I don't know that like even if we do it in this more fluid, ongoing way, like what I try to do for myself, I don't know that I would encourage that for everybody. I don't think there's a one size fits all solution.
All right. So with that said, we're
I
going to
can-
go into closing statements. Closing statements, right? Let us know where you land on the thing during your closing, right? We started at the bottom of the room when we started off, but now we're going to start it with the top. So Brys, take it away.
Okay, I think it's a matter to respond to what Rhyzohm said in my closing statement. I think if it's problem of people not having the mental health or the mental equipment to do this, then it's just a matter of us teaching them. It's not an inherent thing to humans. There is definitely a human capacity to affect lifestyle changes and have a system of consistent improvement. And I think for people to I think it's better for people to have like a introspection and cognizance where they look at themselves and think about like, how can I make myself better?
Kay, go for it.
So like I said in the beginning, I think it's better to make like more like life goals rather than like a specific set goal. So make it more of like a broad spectrum thing of like, hey, you just want to achieve consistency, you want to achieve strength, you want to achieve like better mental health, stuff like that can achieve like long term and have more broad spectrums of goals to achieve from. So even doing the most minuscule thing, you still feel that like achievement goal. I do believe that there is a lot of like barriers that occur within these goals that people don't often recognize immediately, and it sets them up for a lot of failures, and it does detriment the mental health. But I think we need to open up more about that and release the stigma on those types of things so that people feel more comfortable going and talking about these things, because a lot of people don't.
Nice. Montreal player.
Yeah, goals are a tool. They're a tool you can use. If your goals didn't work this year, or any year, maybe you need to set your goals differently. They're a useful tool. Maybe they're not for you, okay, either. But maybe New Year's is a good reminder for everyone. Hey, you know what? Why don't you try that goal thing? Okay, but next time you try the goal thing, and you don't have to wait for New Year's. Okay, try to find a different way to set goals if it hasn't been working for you in the past. It's worth a try, right? Got to fix your life. You got to survive in this world. So yeah, that's it. That's it for me.
Your geek.
Goals are cringe. No, most seriously,
Yeah, that's what we need to say. Like, yeah, goals are based, Pepe La.
yeah.
That's what we need.
No, I don't know. I think it's just good to use 2020, like the change to a new year to just do a checkup on like where you are in your life and everything. But like other than that, fuck it. You know, I'm too lazy. I see that tomorrow. You know, today there's fireworks and everything. We'll see about the new resolution January 2, or maybe 3, or maybe 20.
Rhizome.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like what I was saying before. I think oftentimes we look for really one-size-fits-all solutions in society. We look for easy answers because we feel a turmoil or inadequacy in our lives. And I think that it's important for us to think about why we're adopting goals. And I don't know that everybody's equipped to do that. And I think people know themselves better than they might really think they do, right? So for me, it's kind of a thing that I think a lot of people can, a trap that I think a lot of people can slip into that plays into their insecurities. But I have news. This conversation has helped me to realize my New Year's resolution, and it's to never debate New Year's resolutions again.
Next is Rope Man.
I think to get at the topic at hand, I think everybody here can agree that goals are good. But what we're talking about here is New Year's resolutions. And myself, I like to have a 4-week plan, a 4-month plan, and a 4-year plan. And I think when you hit your New Year's resolution, it's the time where you can take a step back and say, what do I want to do for this year? You hit that New Year's resolution and you want to be you take part in the meme. You got the support group around you. Other people around you are participating in the New Year's resolution. Unless you have a contrarian like Brys, who's a no-fun goofball, who does not want to participate in that thing. You just want to get people like that out of your life. That's an obstacle to your goal.
You know what? Roadman has convinced me of something. Fuck Brys. Fuck
What are we
Brys.
doing? What are we doing?
Okay?
What are we doing right now, Monty? It's closing statements, bro.
I just want to make a joke.
That's fuck no. Closing statements. Closing
Fuck
statements.
Brys.
We're running a show here, right? There's a time schedule, right? Paradigm shift.
I think I agree with Ohm again. There's just not enough tools to be able to correctly navigate goals for the majority of people. I think everybody here kind of has their head on good shoulders for whatever it's worth. And we know how to be able to get a layer deeper and say, well, this is the big goal. How do I chop that down into 30 little goals? I feel like people will just move the goalposts for themselves out of the condition of where they'll be able to go. And when they fail that, they'll feel more comfortable.
Oh shit. Sorry, give me a sec. Everything crashed. Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay, I need to restart Discord.
Yeah, the stream seems either dead or something.
Whose stream?
Ruh-roh. Right when I start
Mr. Geek.
talking, typical.
Mr. Geek left the call and then rejoined back
Okay,
in. That's probably
okay,
why.
well,
Yeah, I'm back.
Show will
Sorry.
go on.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Jesus Christ, Bryce.
Yeah, hold on.
Hey, I'm
Mr.
thinking
Geek,
about everybody, okay?
Hold on. Mr. Geek is actually recording the one for the YouTube channel, so I want to make sure that we hold for
Yeah,
the.
yeah, yeah.
So let me know when you're back, buddy. And for all
There
of
you
you
go.
out there in Twitch land that is watching this thing live, thank you for being here. Tell your friends that we're doing this. All right, there we go. So Maddie, now that you've joined us, right? You have 45 seconds or less to let everybody know where they can find you and a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Maddie Cakes. You can find me on Twitch at MaddieCakes_. You can find me on Twitter as Madsmaru, spelled MADSMARU. I'm a lefty streamer. I am also a professional progressive political activist, organizer, strategist, etc. Working with a number of congressional campaigns out right now, which is really exciting. And I'm fucking freezing because it's cold.
Nice. And she also shares a birthday with CTV. So
yeah,
sure.
it's a birthday of winners. So
birthday winners. There you go. Winner, chicken dinner. Now, on to the topic that everybody has been waiting for. This is the topic that we all came for here tonight. So it's time to get to the main event, folks. Right? And remember from the rules earlier, right? No breaking TOS. I don't care if you get along. As long as I'm laughing, it's all fucking good. Right? So don't be hateful to each other, but keep it memey. Okay? Now, the main topic and the reason why I'm hosting it is so I can be censored because it's obvious that I know more about this thing than anybody, right? It's the drug war. Come on, Maddie. You know it's true. All right. The drug
we certainly
war.
talk about it more than most people.
Legalizing marijuana is a rare topic where many agree, with recent Gallup polling indicating that 68% of U.S. adults say they back legislation for recreational use. Legislation could increase federal tax revenues, promote the creation of small businesses, create jobs, and enact criminal justice reform. So what's the holdup? Are Republicans or Democrats to blame for not passing this seemingly unpopular bipartisan slam dunk? Or is the slippery slope of hard drugs being legalized enough to scare away moderates in Congress?
That's a big question, man.
This is a big fucking question. I'm going to repeat it one more time, okay? I'm going to take the time to repeat this thing. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Are Republicans or Democrats to blame for not passing this seemingly popular bipartisan slam dunk? Or is the slippery slope of hard drugs being legalized next enough to scare away moderates in Congress? All right. Wait,
hold
what?
on. Do
Why
I have
am
to
I
know the
getting
motivations about moderates in Congress? Like to participate in this one?
What the? Danabo is now sending me. Okay.
You're
What's he
doing great,
sending you?
CTV.
You
You're
sending
doing
you
great.
anything? Sending you
Geek,
anything exciting?
are you back? Are we good? Are you recording? Everything's good. It's fine. Okay. Good freaking Lord Danabo. Good Lord. Okay. Technical difficulties past. Now we all have a topic. You all are aware of the topic. We are going to start at the top of the room with Brys. Brys, take it away.
Okay. I'll just say that the war on drugs is a subject we're all familiar with. You get the PR spins in favor, the recent subject matter of being against. It's probably best labeled as like a spending failure, a mission failure, and a failure of the people it's meant to serve. But what you don't really know, or what doesn't get discussed about very much, is the deep history in the U.S. of being against marijuana. I think if you fast forward, we've got problems in the ONDCP, the DEA, and things that seem to transcend these party lines, but seem to be built into American institutions as being against marijuana. So I don't think it's a problem of Democrats or Republicans. I think Americans are just dumb. I think the American politicians are an exemplification of how dumb they are.
Mm-hmm. Next, KayBuckOph.
So I would say, like, I have no problem with that. I think legalization of marijuana, both medicinally and recreational, should be done. I think it should happen more at a state level, though, and it should be the state's decision rather than all federally, which is what it's been happening currently. Is a lot of states have been currently going around saying yes and no, but it's also been putting a lot of hardships on other rights that they have, which turns into a bigger issue. So I think personally, I think the weed thing, I think yes, would bring a lot of revenue in, but I think it also should be regulated as so. I don't think it should be just completely 100% y'all can have it here, go do what you want. I think it needs to be completely regulated and taken care of in that way, shape, or form. So we're not going off of like lace drugs and stuff like that, because that happens all the time. And I know it's not as common in weed, but it still is very common.
Next is Matty Cakes.
Cool. So, yeah, I mean, it is kind of ridiculous that despite polling extremely high across just about every major demographic in the United States, that weed is still illegal. And what the research shows is that even for harder drugs, by making it illegal and criminalizing usage, what you're actually doing is criminalizing a health crisis. Criminalizing things like addiction simply serves to turn addicts who need medical care into criminals. And it is a large reason why you see our jails being overpopulated, and why, surprise, surprise, the groups that fight the hardest against legalizing marijuana for recreational use are police unions. Shocker, right? Because they get a lot of their arrests, drive a lot of their seizures, their forfeitures from weed busts, or claiming, oh, I smell weed in the car. Oh, I think your eyes are kind of red, and using that as an excuse to carte blanche violate people's Fourth Amendment. So yeah, it should be absolutely be legalized. But the reason people don't do it is because I think right now we have politicians that are not very bold. We have politicians playing it safe. They don't want to ruffle feathers. And a lot of them are beholden to these police unions who still wield significant political power in the form of massive donations to campaigns. So yeah, we should definitely legalize it. It's stupid that it's not. You can drink yourself to death, but you can't smoke a joint in most areas of the country. That is dumb.
Montreal player.
Yep. Well,
Matter of fact, hold on. A big intro, right? The Tuesday night host of the High Times podcast, right? Montreal player. Take it away.
Also, Montreal player, you have a killer setup there. Just wanted to say, like, you look
It's nice, right?
Very
Thank you.
professional studio.
Thank you. You were saying you were cold. Is it minus 30 degrees cold in there?
I'm a weak Californian, so
Yeah, exactly. So this is what I got going on. This is my breath. Do you see it? Okay, I'm in a freezer right now. It's colder than any freezer, actually. Okay. That being said, prepare to be astounded with a tale of how government used what might be a legitimate public health concern to suppress adversaries for political gain. And you're going to hear arguments from these very smart people make you wonder why rational people couldn't why any rational person cannot be somewhat suspicious of large institutions and the crisis they manage to control. That's it. That being said, weed is a menace, public health menace. It's bad for your lungs. Apparently, according to the NIH.gov website, there's a lack of therapeutic benefit for the usage of marijuana. And that's it. It's bad for your lungs. It'll give you respiratory problems, especially at a time when there's a respiratory pandemic going around. Okay, and I think it should absolutely be illegal for Americans. They can't handle it.
Mr. Geek.
First of all, I agree with everything Monty just said, 100%.
Exactly. I knew I had people.
And as for the partisan issue, yeah, I don't think that's it. I think the Democrat had the chance, many chance to push it too, and like they failed at it. It was something that like even despite like most people agreeing with it, like both parties failed at it. You can see that like conservative were more like are holding more, but like yeah, like Democrats. So yeah, I don't think that's a partisan issue. I would say it's more like something that is generational, like the people who grew up with reefer madness and stuff like that. Like it's really hard to get those people, and also most people tend to not give a shit about like issues such as marijuana unless you're a hardcore stoner. Like it's not something that you're going to vote on, like mostly. So yeah, like most candidates didn't really have an incentive to move forward with it. That being said, legalize fucking everything. Like I'm sorry, I live in a country where marijuana is illegal. I just want to say I'm a respectful citizen who would never break the law. I just want to make that clear. And yeah, marijuana is illegal in France. It's fucking awful. The only way the government here found to destroy one drug network was literally to take down a whole fucking building, just because like they couldn't access like one drug network. So yeah, like it's a fucking nightmare. Like stuff. Like we need to end it.
Rhyzohm. I kind of like doing that for you. You know what I mean?
I don't mind it at all. Yeah. So
okay,
I mean,
do we really need to make weed legal here? Okay. A lot of
is
weed
this your
users.
opening statement? Why do people keep talking when I'm talking? What is this,
Well,
Monty? Is this your opening statement, dog?
They're like, what? Dude, Monty, it's twice now.
I lose
Jesus
track of the order. I'm
Christ,
sorry.
dog.
Just
Look,
shut me
I
up.
realize you're in a fucking freezer up in Canada, right? But like, chill the fuck out.
His
Like
nerves are
literally.
firing off with a delay right now. CTV, they're coming
Did
in
it
20
also
seconds
freeze
late.
your brains? Did it freeze your brains?
All right. So let's try this again. Rhizome.
Yeah. So I mean, drugs are pretty poggers, man. Just we should legalize them. People are going to do them anyways. The war on drugs has been a failure. The DEA has a less than 1% efficiency rate when it comes to stopping the flow of drugs in the country and around the country. We should take steps towards legalization and regulating them so that we can reap the benefits as opposed to destroying lives and harming ourselves due to cultural stigma. Countries with harm reduction practices see less death, they see less addiction, they see less long-term problems due to drug use. So we should give people a path to do them safely with government oversight and standards with social programs to encourage safe, responsible use, and give us the ability also, again, to turn that revenue into taxes. We need to be concerned about how it gets legalized, because it's it controls who has access to that burgeoning market, right? And right now we can see that there's some issues there, but people are just trying to enjoy their existence as much as they can. They shouldn't get punished for it due to giving our racist grandma and grandpas the heebie-jeebies. Unless we think alcohol should also be illegal, weed shouldn't. And any contrarian on this panel is probably just joking, and I fail to see that otherwise.
Rope man. Take it away, sir.
Okay, so first of all, I can't believe how many dirty hippies are on this panel. Marijuana is illegal, should be illegal. As a matter of fact, the punishment should continue to be harsher for people who smoke marijuana.
Right.
I believe that marijuana itself is a dangerous drug. As you can see, a lot of people on this panel complained about setting goals and not being able to accomplish them. Marijuana, as you can see, has caused them not to be able to accomplish these goals. Also, the unemployment in America is very high. People do not want to get jobs. What do you see? As marijuana was legalized, people in this country are not working anymore. They refuse to work. They just want to sit at home, get high, and do nothing. It's really terrible for the productivity in our country. I know everybody wants to get high and sit at home and do nothing all day and get paid unemployment, but the country itself is suffering due to this. Now, my thoughts on marijuana being legalized, that's not the question at hand. You are right. A lot of people want it to be legalized. I don't think it is being illegal because of Congress, for Democrats or Republicans. I think it has a lot to do with the pharmaceutical lobby. I think that's the main culprit in why it is illegal, as well as the alcohol lobby. These two things are paying a lot of money, so you can't get high and sit at home and do nothing all day.
Paradigm shift to wrap us up before I open the floor up.
That was something. That was real. I felt that. I think that weed being legal is a plot by the Democrats to get everybody to like be stupid and very slow, so that way when they actually do decide to come and take our guns, as they've been doing with our liberties on free speech, that they will in time use this just as a vehicle to prove that everybody else is okay. I can't do this. I can't play that character.
Yes,
Yo,
yes, you can.
I can't.
The
I just I can't do it.
common sense
I tried,
coalition.
yo.
Hey, Jesus!
I got Bronco scared.
Come over to our side, pragmatic.
Opening statement. I got
Come over to
2
our
seconds
side,
left.
pragmatic.
You know what?
I'm
Take
with
the
your
weed,
cardiac
smoke the
arrest.
joint,
Where is my
pragmatic.
power to
I was
control
hearing
this?
I want to join in
Oh
too.
my god.
Hey, Danabo, I want power in this fucking room immediately for people that think that like they could just start interrupting motherfuckers before I even bother and open up the fucking floor. You hear me? Make this shit happen now. So, fact
I
of the
think you
matter
did.
is, we just got through with paradigm shifts. Well, we weren't even through it before Monty started having a fucking hernia over there and fucking started vomiting all of the fucking words possible in his brain out into his fucking microphone.
That's
Okay?
how we do.
Jesus fuck. Now, paradigm shift, please finish up your closing statement.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. I believe that and this is my real take. I agree with a lot of statements that have been made here. I disagree with a few, but I will say that I do not think it matters about legalization, because it needs to be more educated on the social side, because like there are certain ingrained motions that we take as a society, and people smoking weed on the street still gets looked at with a little bit of like disapproval, and that could lead to like more societal consequences if we start like not destigmatizing these things. So we need to have a lot of resources on the ground instead of just saying legalize, because like people will abuse that power and still hold certain people in social positions for things that are even legalized. They'll still be harassed for those certain things, and we need to have a better system in place before we even approach legalization.
Okay,
But yes,
so
please legalize everything. Yeah.
okay, so by a show of hands, we're just going to ask the simple question here. Pro marijuana, raise your hand. Okay, against marijuana, raise your hand. Okay, so understand that we've got a 2-on-6 situation. So what I'm going to anticipate is that the two end up controlling the mic, as they are now refuting everyone else's points. So for the 6, try to understand that you're trying to work everything that y'all are saying into these 2 focal points, because they are the against opinion, okay? If I need to moderate, I will. However, what I'd prefer is that we all act like adults and we don't force me to have to use the brand new moderator powers that I have. Amazing. The alpha wolf's got fucking teeth now. So, that being
Don't let it
said,
go to your head, CTV.
the floor is open. You got it.
Discipline is needed. Anyways, hey, yeah. So you got to stop doing this. Depression, anxiety, all that stuff is linked to weed smoking. It's not good for our population. Okay, it's not good for our population's mental health. Okay,
You know that
there's
you're
something
doing
we
right
need
now.
to
You're
fucking-
doing the exact same tactic that they tried to use during the prohibition, which progressive supported, and the support for it is actually tenuous at best. You have to look at the fact that, generally speaking, different researchers and doctors support the legalization of marijuana. And while I will agree that there's definitely things that you need to be aware of, just like you do with alcohol and cigarettes, it is still a net good for society to legalize marijuana. So anything that you're trying to say about like depression, anxiety, whatever, these are things that you could say about the impact of drinking and
I
the
wonder
impact
if
of like
Monty's a
cigarettes.
co-host of the High
It's a
Times
moot point.
podcast.
I mean, if we're like, I get the health argument. I really do. And I have sympathy for it because, like, the truth is, yeah, if you're smoking a ton, it can have adverse effects on your lungs. But you could say the same thing about someone who eats a ton of sugar or drinks a ton of alcohol. There are plenty of things that are perfectly legal that still have adverse health effects. The impact of legalization means that now they can be regulated, and that people, when they partake in them, whether it's for pleasure or maybe there's a medicinal purpose of some kind, they don't have to do so with the fear that they might be criminalized for it and go to jail, have a criminal record that follows them everywhere. I mean, and it's a little shocking to me sometimes when I hear people who are right on the right side of the political spectrum arguing against legalization, because I think to myself, well, wait a minute, aren't you guys the party of, no, take personal responsibilities for your action. I don't want the government involved with my life. I want to be able to make those decisions for myself. In this case, you are completely advocating for the complete opposite. You're advocating for the government to, in fact, tell you what is good for your body and what isn't. And it's like, well, wait a minute, but I thought you guys want to be able to like let the market decide. And if the market decides that weed is fucking cool, which it is, then like, why not listen to the market? Let that invisible hand put that blunt in your mouth.
That's kind of funny.
My problem
Maddie,
is
how do you
with
know
these...
that Monty is right wing really quick? How do you know that Monty is right wing really quick?
Because I know him. Because we've talked before.
Oh, okay. But how do you know that his like positions can be attributed to like just him being right wing? It seems like you're just like, oh, when these right wingers do this to like kind of like delegitimize his position.
You're right. No, I hear. I'll put it this way. That's why I specifically called out that it's interesting to me when Republicans or people who are more right-leaning make that argument, because it's so counter to the typical messaging and optics that they put forward when they're
the
proposing
libertarian
things.
side. You mean the libertarian
Yes,
side?
libertarian for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely, yes. Because here's the thing. I also don't think that the Democrats are exactly innocent on this either, because we have, especially when it comes to the old guard, and I forget who brought this up, but talking about the generational gap and why it is largely a generational issue. I 100% think that's true. I mean, we see it because even Biden was saying, no, there's no way I'm going to legalize it, despite large support within his own party, with leadership in his party, even his own damn VP pushing for legalization. I think a lot of it is because they're still stuck in this whole mindset where it's this big bad evil thing, the gateway drug, even though you could say Diet Coke is a gateway drug.
So the interesting thing is that I don't think it's really so much as like a generational thing as much as like an actual American institution and political thing. It is a political strategy, and seems like a really good talking point for a large number of people in different electoral areas. Because when you look at the history of American legislation and attempts to reschedule it from the Controlled Substances Act, what you see is that in the history, there's this guy, Anslinger. He started the Federal Bureau of Narcotics, and him, in partnership with his friendship, this guy named Hearst, who was the inspiration for Citizen Kane. These guys pushed a thing called
textiles.
Yeah, they had textile, and in the DuPont family and everything. But what they did is they pushed stuff from this guy's Gore files. That's where you saw the movie called Reefer Madness being created. So there's and these are all Democrats, right? So there was a really deep history of Democrats being, for whatever reason, adversarial to the marijuana legislation. And there's a lot of instances where people came to Enslinger, doctors, scientists, etc., saying like, "Oh, hey, like this is actually not that bad. Like you probably shouldn't like decriminalize it, or so you shouldn't criminalize it, or like create penalties or what have you." And he's like, "Nope, I don't care. I don't." He's plugging his ears, being like, "La la la la, don't give a fuck."
Why not? Why not just let? Okay,
But like
go on.
that's
Right.
sorry. No,
No,
I was
just,
saying that's all well and good. Sorry, go finish your point. Yeah.
Oh, just to say, really quick, the proof of Republicans doing it as well is that there's Reagan, Nixon, and Bush who all did their own individual things against marijuana legislation.
My problem
I
is
was
this
basically just
liberal
gonna
talking
say
point.
that.
Like this liberal talking point of I wanna legalize it so then we can regulate it and then just have more regulations on marijuana. Why do you want to do that when now all of a sudden you're going to get taxed 20-30% like you're seeing these states do? You want to go ahead and pay $50 for a gram of weed, keep it illegal. You can just get it from
Yeah, you
some dude on
don't
the
pay
alley
that
like you've
much.
been doing it.
Hell yeah.
That's fine with me. I just don't
Actually, they've
understand.
seen the
People's
opposite
Network.
happen.
So
It's-
it's pretty.
that's
simple.
the shit out of it.
Happen.
I'm
So
sorry,
it's
real
just
quick.
down to the
I
fact that-
live in a state that it is legalized, and I'm
Roman,
seeing.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, so
Roman.
I'm the one who brought in that point, so
Is my-
I feel like
you know
I should
what?
respond.
I feel
You have
like
the CTV, go for it.
I feel like everyone should take a moment and go into the Discord settings and turn my volume up.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
I really feel like that needs to happen.
Do you think?
Shame on you if it wasn't already done.
Yeah. I feel like that's because I really don't want to
CTV's
have
like,
to.
also just maximize my window. Don't worry about the other windows. Just have me.
Well, I think it's because he's just screaming over us and nobody's listening, and like he's just
I mean, like,
talking over us,
also
telling us
that.
to shut up, and
Yeah,
everyone's just like, "Let me continue on."
Like I literally just don't
used to
want
being
to
told
be
to shut up.
screaming into my microphone and then have to wake my wife up whenever the easy solution is for y'all to turn me up, right?
Mm.
So awesome.
Yeah, don't piss off the wife. That's
So
don't
Roadman,
poke the bear.
Roadman was starting to make a point, and then it became like a shit messed response between everyone, right? So we're going to give it back to Roadman, and then between y'all, figure out which direction. It seemed like Maddie, but it could have been Geek, right? So
I just
Geek,
talk a lot. It's fine.
I think Rhyzohm was trying to say something because I think he was the original one. I think he
Rhyzohm.
said the point, right? Was
Yeah,
that
I
you
brought
who
in
said
the
it?
idea. Yeah, I brought in the idea that it would be good to take taxes from it and put it back into social programs. So yeah, I'd be
Okay.
happy to take
What-
the reins.
Why do you
Okay.
need taxes? We just MMT the whole thing. You don't even need the tax revenue.
Oh, Monty,
it.
what? Your name is Roadman now, huh?
Oh,
Shit.
sorry. God damn it. All right.
Why do we need
again,
taxes? Like, how much time do you have?
my
'Cause-
whole argument is the regulation itself. I feel like liberals are just so happy to regulate everything and just put as much rules and as much things as they possibly can and control the lives of others. Marijuana is just another avenue for them to do that. Again, I live in a state where it has been legalized for the past 2 years, I believe, and most of my goofball friends who smoke and do nothing with their lives, all they do is buy weed from the dispensary now, and they're complaining about paying $50-$60 for the amount of weed they were spending $25 on from buying it from a dude from an alley. So all you're doing, and it's still illegal. It's still illegal for you to buy it from your friend. So basically, all the state has done is continue to
gift
make it illegal. It continued to make it illegal for a transaction between two willing individuals, and they just pushed it onto these dispensaries who are just basically taxing you and also charging an upcharge because they're the only ones who can sell it and buy it from growers. So basically making it legal, you've involved the state now when you can keep it illegal and just buy it off of your friend for way cheaper.
Yeah, except that when I buy it from my friends, I don't know what he puts in it. I'm sorry. I don't know how he grows it and everything. You can put some fucked up shit when you grow weed. You can put your weed on hormones. You can use like low tier ingredient, or you can literally add some shit to the final product to make it worse. So yeah, I'm willing to pay like higher price to know that like the quality is there, first of all. And not even talking about quality, just the fact that it's safe for me to smoke it.
Yeah.
Like how many kids do you see that like end up like on spice and shit because like they thought they were buying weed, they end up, I think that was like recently weed laced with like fentanyl. or some shit like
Yeah.
this. So yeah, it happens all the time. On
I
top
know
of
somebody
that,
who died from smoking weed that they thought was just weed, and it was actually laced with fentanyl. So,
So-
like,
yeah, you have a control on that. On top of that, you're talking about restricting liberties. Dude, like you're restricting way much liberty by like making it illegal. Having like 2 grams in your pocket, like or 2 ounces in your pocket would be enough to get you arrested. You're talking about like literally saying like that shit. No, I don't want to hear about it. And when like the like progressive are talking about like we're okay with it. We like let's tax it because it's not necessary and everything. But like and I'm okay with taxing it because it's not like a product that you need. It's something that like instead unless you have like unless it's medical, but that's a different case. When it's recreational, it's not something that you need. So honestly, I'm kind of okay with paying my weed like I don't know, $30 the gram. That's it.
So you're
you
willing
say,
to-
couple
so you
things come to
say,
mind.
man, you say that you were concerned about the taxes and paying more and having the government control it. Well, I'd rather give my government the money and have them put that money into social programs that likely have a chance to improve people's lives, especially people who have addiction and who are probably getting arrested for drugs. I'd rather my money go towards that than having them get arrested and go towards cartels that are running corrupt governments and killing people over debts because they can't, nobody has access to the legal system to sort these disputes out. So I think it's not just, oh man, it's more expensive, bro, but there's a lot of benefits that come with that. And the more people who can grow it and have access to the market, the cheaper it's going to get. So that argument falls by the wayside anyways.
Well, you're under the
Also,
impression that the
you're-
government is capable.
Hang on, wait. So there's a problem with the whole like market thing. The thing is that firstly, drug markets and everything are kind of sticky when it comes to prices. So it is not normal affected in the normal way when it comes to supply and demand. So the main problem with keeping something in an illicit market is that what we've seen in prohibition and in the case of marijuana is that when something is illegal, the percentage of potency goes up, which means you see people in their general behavior consuming things like more moonshine. And in the case of marijuana, you see people doing dabs and other more extreme potency levels of marijuana, which is when you start to see the adverse effects. But I mean, all this is really great, and it's been really interesting to hear everybody talk back to Roadman. But I'm pretty sure that I have a question for Roadman that seems relevant to the topic at hand, and that's who asked, because I thought the topic of the whole conversation was about bipartisan treatment and the treatment in the U.S. institutions. So I'm just really interested, like, who asked?
Okay, again, I've given my stance on why it has not been legalized from a federal level, and that has to do mostly with the pharmaceutical lobby and the alcohol lobby. If you want to get into that conversation, that's fine. I think liberals want to blame Republicans. I think most Republicans really don't care. If they want to smoke weed, go ahead. I personally believe that smoking weed is a detriment to society. It's why America is going down the wayside. But that has nothing to do, like you said, with the topic ahead. That has nothing to do with the topic at hand. Yes, it is. Many people are on unemployment now. Bunch of lazy goofballs. They don't know how to work anymore. They don't want to work anymore.
Unemployment is at the lowest it's been since the pandemic, and it's approaching levels that have been extremely good.
That's interesting, because there's places around me who can't find workers, so I don't understand what you mean by unemployment.
This has nothing to do with it, correct?
Well, we can talk anecdotes all day, but again, you lazy goofballs who smoke too much weed. You want to sit home. You want to get paid unemployment. Your $600 is running out. You gotta get a job. Let's hurry up and do it.
You really should.
What's your source for that? What's your source for that, Roman, besides Twitter? Are you just on Twitter too much and you just think you understand what Zoomers are doing? Or
there's just these guys he knows who also are mad because the guy that they bought weed from in an alley now had to go get a job. What a bummer.
Also, it's not true that it's the pharma and alcohol lobby, because when you go back to the history of all this shit, right, it leads back to 1906 when America had this Pure Food and Drug Act, when they tried to label marijuana poison. That's when it all began. And then when you got to the fast forward to the 50s, you had the Boggs Act under and then under 86 under Reagan, you had more shit. And currently in the contemporary times, you have the ONDCP, which is like an agency that directly advises the U.S. president, and it has the drug czar, and it has a budget of $400 million. You also have the DEA, which have a specific. Sorry, let me go back to the ONDCP. Actually, the ONDCP has a specific policy that makes it illegal for the drug czar to support any kind of legalization of marijuana. So he's not able. He can't. He's legally bound to not support any kind of legalization. So then you have the DEA, which have a long history of not supporting any kind of marijuana legalization. And then you've got Kevin Sabet and the SAM, and I think you should look into them because those are the academic.
So I posted a link. I posted a link for you.
Well, making things illegal makes it so much easier to suppress your political adversaries and certain populations.
Which is why it should be legal.
I have a comment to go back on for
Well, it's a
Roadman.
useful tool for that.
He wants to say that like people are at home being lazy because they're smoking weed. We've had weed for how long? If that was an issue, it would have already happened. Like it wouldn't have just all of a sudden right now started. The problem now is we had a pandemic and a lot of people were let off from their jobs. And when they were let off from their jobs, they were like, hey, I'm making a fuck ton more money sitting at home. So I'm just going to keep sitting at home and collecting this money. They're starting to dwindle out that money of like how much they're giving to people. I believe it may have ended or it may be ending soon or they're like dwindling it down. I'm not too 100% sure on that. But I know that there was a lot of people in the workforce I was in. I was actually a nurse's assistant at a resident at a nursing home. And people were literally trying to get fired so that they can go on unemployment to make more than they were making while they were working. Like it was ridiculous. And so like people are doing this to enjoy the money of sitting at home, which is nice because a lot of us are working in a time living in a time where all you do is work. Once you become a certain age, you just work the rest of your life. So people are experiencing this time where they can sit at home and they can relax and they can get paid for doing so, which I'm not knocking them by any means, but it does suck for the rest of us who are trying to achieve things in life and can't do so because there are markets that aren't able to be filled because there are people not working in those fields.
Well, so here's the thing. I feel like that is more of, I mean, we can go back to the drug thing, but that's more of a critique of like why wages have stagnated and actually functionally declined over the last 15, 20 years. And that was the first time in like recorded history where the next generation is projected to be worse off than the preceding generation. And a lot of that is because like you can literally get like the bare minimum in other countries in terms of unemployment and have it earn more than jobs that are, by the way, require a very specialized skill set that are like very skilled labor. Do you working in a nursing home? That's skilled labor. That's hard. Like that is really difficult but necessary work. And like the fact that you could make more just because they upped unemployment by like the teensiest bit.
I literally got laid off from my one job. And was like, I can't sit at home. Like, I'm going to kill everyone in my house if I sit at home. So, like, I had to get a job. So, like, I went to go get a job instead of being on unemployment. Like, didn't even fill out that paperwork. Like, went and looked for another job. Like, and got a job at a nursing home because obviously they always need people.
Paradigm, you go for it.
Wait. You specifically took yourself out of a situation where you could have received more money to receive
for sitting at home.
Money?
Yes, because I'd rather work for people that had no people to take care of them and were being trapped in a facility and not being able to see their family. And the only interaction they had was me.
I'm sorry. I skipped that. I'm sorry. I heard it and then I didn't realize like that was specific to you. My bad. No, I fuck with that. Yeah, no. Yeah. Sorry. I was like, wait, why?
He's just like trying to wrap his head around it. Like,
I could sit at home and make a ton more money, or I can sit in a facility and take care of people who actually did get.
No. So sorry.
But that was we're getting off topic, but that was just because Roadman was saying that people were at home smoking.
So I just want to address
that's actually stupid.
I just want to address Bryce's point where he said that the pharmaceutical lobby is not the reason that marijuana is legal. I posted a link in the chat, and I'll just read a quote from it: that Purdue Pharma and Abbott Laboratories, the makers of the painkiller OxyContin and Vicodin, that obviously is just running through America, they're among the largest contributors to the Anti-Drug Coalition of America. Also, the Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America, considered one of marijuana's biggest opponents, spent $19 million on lobbying in 2015. And the reason is, and liberals, they love to talk about big pharma. You guys are on the teat of big pharma. You love talking about trust the science and the vaccines are God's gift to earth. But big pharma themselves are the reason you guys can't sit home, do nothing all day and smoke pot.
Real quick.
Can you tell
okay, Brys, go ahead.
Values of the different contributions? Can you read off some of the contribution amounts from your
So do you not find it interesting that Big Pharma is spending now this is one coalition of Big Pharma.
I think it's
spending $19 million in lobbying.
No, that makes sense.
To answer you, I think I'm not denying that lobbying exists and obviously that they would lobby, and that's probably problematic because the problem of lobbying and finance in politics is a general problem in US politics. So yeah, I agree with that. But what I disagree is that I don't think it's causal, and I don't think that they're as big of an influence as you're trying to levy.
So these big pharmaceutical companies are huge donors to both the Republican and the Democratic parties. They have a huge interest in keeping marijuana legal because it's going to be better for their
Just
bottom
wondering,
line.
did
So
you
do you
pay
not
attention
think?
when I talked earlier?
I paid attention when you talked earlier, but however, I'm not finishing my point. I haven't finished my point. The thing is, they are contributing not only to these coalitions that are anti-marijuana, they are also giving donations to all of our politicians. These politicians taking the money, they're not listening to you. They're listening to their donors, and that money's going to run out if they continue to have marijuana be legal.
Yeah, so to respond to you, the problem with everything there is that, yes, money in politics is an issue, but you have a fundamental and structural thing where there is agenda against marijuana. So you have in the ONDCP, as I said, so this is a specific office that directly advises the US president, and it has a budget of $400 million every year. Now, this drug czar, and I sent you a link in the group chat as well, he is legally bound to not take any kind of pro-legalization stance. So it's not a matter of they're going to discuss it, they're not going to research it, they're not going to try to talk about it as you would expect in like a liberal democracy where we value like scientific efforts and like actually like questioning things and thinking like, oh wait, let's talk about this. Is this really the best thing? Is this what the people want? So he is legally bound. And on top of that, you have the DEA, which are also primarily focused on being against marijuana legalization. And the way that they frame it is that they want to specifically limit it to giving universities access to research marijuana. That's it. So you have there's even more. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to bring that up. I'm saying, it goes so far that like there are laws that specifically prohibit and severely restrict even the most basic of research on marijuana too. So like when we talk about thinking about, okay, well, what are the health effects? What are the potential side effects? Or how can we ensure that we're keeping people safe? We aren't able to do that with a data based like research foundation because we are simply hamstrung by the current laws that prohibit so many different types of research. I mean, even as recent as 2020, cannabis research has significantly been stalled by federal inaction. Now it can be done, the research that has been done has to either be privately funded or it has to be funded. I think there's some states that allow for funding, but I don't believe that really and I'm looking at an article right now, I can send it around, but like they're significantly hampered with the amount of federal funding that's allowed to go to any sort of research there, which is like effectively nada.
Another thing that I want to point out is that something that happened recently, right?
Monty,
Under
if you
Obama.
want to go, bro, just go.
Okay, all right, sorry. As far as
go ahead, Monty.
sorry. I mean, as far as the Democrats and Republicans not wanting to, get along in this, maybe that's the right thing. They're just letting the states do it. It'll take a longer time, but it'll be more robust, right? If all the states get to it eventually, right? I get there's forces. Like for and against in each of them, but they'll work it out. Do you think this divide is going to last forever?
It can't work like that for the states.
The ironic part is that the divide exists everywhere. Like we all talking about like pharmaceutical companies and being on the teat of them, even though like we were like opioid crisis, pharmaceutical company. Like we can give you detailed like answers to those people getting medicine, those people on opioids, those people who change over to like something stronger. We could give you all the data on that. Why can't we give you the data on cannabis use? I wonder if there's a correlation between this country and the way it catalogs data for certain groups of people based on what it'll be important on in like, let's say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years for medical research. Why would they exclude a certain group who benefits from a certain thing and then make that thing illegal? You would want to leave that to the same states that put us in the situation today. You would want to leave that to the same states that just like, I don't know, like maybe about 200, give one to take 170, I don't know, fought over like keeping people enslaved. You know what I mean? Like you want to talk about we just
but
passed
but for weed, you mean? Yeah, but we're talking about weed here, not people's human rights.
Yeah,
right.
I just
the thing is that
they're interconnected though.
in a way you are.
Real quick,
The thing
they're
that you're not talking
interconnected.
about here is that like the idea that like, oh, let the states decide how many people get hurt in the process of that. When right now our prison
Exactly.
system is 13,
Exactly.
like our population 13% Black people, prisons 40% non-violent drug crimes, and they're using it the same rates as their white counterparts. Like, what is that all about, and who's getting harmed by that? So the longer states don't do something, the more harm gets done. The longer we go on ruining people's lives literally just for something that they want to do to unwind and make peace with their own situation.
Okay, real quick. Sorry, no. Real quick, I want to jump in on one point. The state also. I know we got 2 Canadian, 1 French, so I just want to because I've read this shit and everything. We have to remind ourselves that the United States is fucked, and the legalizing state by state cannot work. Because one state is going to legalize, which is going to increase the criminality in the states around. And all of this shit said basically it makes usually the approval for marijuana drop in the states, or you get more easy target point for people opposed to this to create case and all of this shit. Just wanted to throw that out there too.
I just want to address one thing that Paradigm said. Basically, you're wondering why these studies are not being done. Like you said, we can see the effects of Oxycontin, these painkillers, these medicines on society. I believe that the studies are not being done because I'm going to say again, the top 3 reasons: the police unions, like you said, the pharmaceutical industry, and the alcohol lobbies. They are not allowing these things to be studied. They're not allowing them to be discussed. Pharmaceutical companies and alcohol industry are huge donors, not only on CNN and all these other major media companies. Like I said, they're donating to these politicians. They're not going to allow this discussion to even be had. Fox News, exactly. But you don't see the police union running commercials on these media companies. You watch any of these news channels, you're going to see a new medicine commercial every 3 commercials. So it's in their best interest for you to take oxys, to take these painkillers, and not to do drugs, or I'm sorry, not to smoke marijuana, because it's going to affect their bottom line. So like you were asking why these studies aren't being done, I do believe these, the NIH, the HHS, all these places, they're all connected with the pharmaceutical companies. The guy who's running Pfizer is going to go onto these regulatory boards after his time in Pfizer. He's obviously going to help out the pharmaceutical companies. He's not going to allow marijuana to be studied, to be talked about, to be even discussed on a federal level of being legalized, because again, it's going to affect the bottom lines of pharmaceutical and the police union and also the alcohol lobby.
How do you stop an
one thing-
organization from
with
doing
that-
research? Just run in and say no into the university? Like, what do you do?
So,
Listen,
what's not the problem? Can I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I answer that? Yeah. So the reason that stops is because a lot of these universities rely very heavily on federal grants and funding in order to conduct research at scale. It's really expensive to do, and so that is typically where their funding comes from. When the federal government is extremely restrictive in the amount of funding they lend out for that type of research, that's what puts a lot of these different barriers in place. As it stands right now, and I shared this article in our chat, as it stands right now, in order to conduct any form of research, even the most basic of research, researchers have to get approval from 3 different federal agencies. And even then, the pool of money they can draw from in order to get the necessary grants to do the proper research, conduct proper trials, is significantly limited, which is why we haven't seen much happen. Another point I wanted to bring up into the conversation for why this would not work by going just at the state level is the fact that as it stands right now, even though weed is perfectly legal in a number of states, including my own, the banks that are federally insured, which is all of them, won't work with a weed distributor because it's still illegal at the federal level. So in order for these businesses to operate without just having tons of stacked cash, which is how a lot of them operate in their gigantic warehouses, we need to have it legalized at the federal level so that these businesses are able to work with actual banks. This is just one of the fallbacks, again, of leaving it up to the states, because there are things that simply can't, it's just ineffective, inefficient. It allows for the continued criminalization of disproportionately black and brown people and poor people. And that's some bullshit.
Maddie,
People should just smoke a joint and relax.
Hasn't that always been the
There are a
purpose of
couple different
making
problems.
it illegal?
I got a question.
Yeah.
Maddie.
Wait, Paradigm's answer.
Go for it.
What's up?
It's so funny. It's just so funny that, like, I believe we all can attest to the fact that the war on drugs failed. But, like, to go back to the question or the topic, is the fear of legalization scaring away moderate Democrats? Like, look at the conversation. We all know the solution. We all know what tax revenue it would bring. We all know how we should do recidivism for nonviolent drug offenders. Like, we all know this, and like, no one just wants to do it. It's not like the overall benefit is like there's just a benefit. Like, we could talk about downsides, you know, we could talk about releasing a bunch of people, housing, we could do like the whole thing, but like, these things exist because of all the cracks in our system that we allow by calling these things illegal. Legalizing it, like, did the war on drugs win in a sense then? Because you lost like the popular vote, but you still have holds at every level of the system, city, state, federal, who all just won't do it, even though it would just be a nice thing. So if you won't do it and the majority of the people are of a certain type, you gotta put 2 and 2 together. I wonder why we not doing it.
I hear you. It's fucking frustrating, especially because it's popular. It is like actually effective. We have perfect blueprints for how this rollout and legalization process could work and benefit everyone. And yet it's still not happening. And I think so much of it, I mean, when you are talking about decades and decades of targeted messaging, just preaching the horrors of addiction, the horrors of all those like listless stoners just wasting away their lives. And that's the imagery that comes to mind when you think about anyone who partakes in recreational marijuana. That's pervasive. And what we're doing now, I mean, it's great that this movement has gained steam in recent years, but, you know, we're combating messaging and optics that have permeated our entire like media complex for like generations. It's
okay, so Roadman is fucking wrong then. We're not just doing it because we want to smoke weed and be lazy. There's a whole social justice movement behind it. That means you gotta get out your room, brother.
Yeah, you know, sounds like a typical liberal.
Room,
sounds like a typical liberal who's gonna put weed as a social justice movement. Yeah, that's a huge social justice movement. You smoking weed in your fucking living room, dude. Why don't you watch some more Rick and Morty and get on with your life, dude?
Hey, how about all the people that are in jail because of non-violent offenses? How about police?
Rick and Morty right now because they only put Fox on the television.
Hey, real quick, my country is in the middle of the war on drugs. We have like the prisons are full of people who have just too much weight on them. Like, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like, it's not like there are many reasons why it's like more social than you think. Instead of like having the police running after like what you would consider to be real criminals, people who are killing, people who are beating, people who are like doing really fucked up shit. They're running after Kevin, 14-year-old, and he's 2 grams of weed in his pocket. Like, I don't know how you cannot say that this isn't social. Sorry.
Yeah, I've got a question for Monty, if I may. Monty, you said in your opener that weed contributes to depression, and I just want to ask you, like, do we get more depression from smoking weed or working dead-end jobs that barely keep a roof over our heads and living paycheck to paycheck? Like, should we make having a non-livable wage illegal as well? Is alcohol also something we should make illegal because it contributes to depression? Like, you want to elaborate a little more?
Oh yeah,
make cheese illegal because that's where
there's a whole bunch of things. There's a whole bunch of things already causing depression, right? Why do we need to add one more? Why don't we eliminate all the things that cause depression?
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. I think the benefits outweigh, right, in the sense, and I can tell how much you're joking when you're saying this position, which I think it's kind of funny that one of the 2 people on the panel who are taking the anti-side are doing it just purely in jest, but I'll humor it anyways.
That's good. Thank you.
When people are out there trying to medicate themselves to get through to the next day, I think that that's probably more beneficial for society at large than just having them feel depressed and hopeless and in a rut where they're never going to progress or be able to live a meaningful life.
Have any of
just
you
think if
taken
you're
opioids as a pain medication and seen the
Yeah.
effects it has on your body, and then have tried to smoke weed instead to relieve pain and seen the benefits that it has on your body? Like it's right in front of your face. Like my friend my dad's best friend, I call my uncle. He broke his back in a car accident. They prescribed him on opioids. He was addicted to opioids for years, and he finally got off of them. And now he's smoking weed because that's the only thing that actually touches his pain. The opioids weren't even touching his pain; it was just getting him high at that point. Like he smokes the weed and it makes his pain go away, and he's fine. He functions perfectly fine. Normal adult can do his life and function properly, but on opioids he can't. Like there's a complete difference there that I think we need to talk about, and why these are illegal but opioids are allowed.
My whole mentality is I live my life by the caveman mentality, and that is I do not put anything in my body that a caveman did not put in their body. I don't put ibuprofen in there. I don't put marijuana. I don't put any type of these pharmaceuticals in my body. Vaccines, nothing. It's not going in there. If it's not natural, I ain't taking it.
Do you
Yeah, but
smoke
Yeah, that's right.
soda or
Completely
fizzy
marijuana.
water?
I'm
This is-
finding a problem
This
here.
is so bad.
You're literally
Do
drinking.
you drink
By
fizzy
that
water?
metric, cooked chicken
He's
is not
drinking
natural.
beer right
okay?
now.
So stop eating cooked
Electricity is
chicken,
not
man.
natural. Why are you on a computer?
Caveman had blue moons. Actually, I'm on a computer because I do like technology. I just don't put
Caveman
computers in my
had
body.
blue moons.
Bryce, if you want to put a computer in your body, that sounds like something that you would do. But I myself do not want to partake.
Hell
in
yeah,
that.
dude.
That sounds
I
base.
get it.
Oh,
No,
really?
listen,
That's
hey, I
biohacking
get
real
it.
civil war right there.
Listen,
I guess we
get
learned
it.
today that Doritos are more natural.
Cavemen lived really full lives up until they died around age 35, like on average. So, like, you know what? I get it.
Man.
Like, that's what a good decision.
You know, I'm gonna actually help Roadman out and Monty and give you guys like a bit of a
Yes.
breadcrumb. So
Come to the
there
dark
is
side.
something legitimate
dark
when it comes
side.
to legalizing marijuana, and that is the broad effect that legalizing it has, because by being illegal for so long, the products that are available are of a really high potency rate. So when we do introduce legalization, we do see that there are like marijuana related psychosis issues. There is like obviously what they've already said, like lung problems, cancer, etc. But also there's the potential, like in some scenarios that with some people that are susceptible and they don't know it, to different like cognitive harm and like mental health harm. And also the biggest and like primary thing that I think is something that does need to be dealt with or addressed before or after legalization is that children, right? Children accidentally ingest a lot of these marijuana products on accident, and hospitalizations do go up as a result of legalization. So it does need to be
Or
something
what if,
that,
or what if children try it? Or what if children have it just more accessible and try it at an earlier age to mess up their, to mess up whatever they have going on? You know, as their brain is developing.
Real quick, I just want to address the Brys thing real quick. That's 100% an American problem. Amsterdam had it legalized for years, and like the maximum that you could find was isolator. America takes shit up to like 11 every fucking time. They invent dab, they invent like 100% THC. If that's not enough, like 1,000 milligrams. Like, holy
like,
fuck.
Go big or go
That's
home.
true.
Go big or
Good,
go
good
home.
dunk, but that doesn't mean
I
we're
mean,
not
we
gonna do it.
invented Four Loco. Okay, we invented Four Loco. Our track record is not. Is
But
not
let's
great.
be honest. I grew up in a household around guns. Are we gonna say like that? Like just because I grew up in a house around guns, that I probably as a kid had come in contact with a gun without my parents around, or like something of that sort, and would have done some harm to myself. Yes, there's cases of that, but 90% of the time, it turns back to the parents and how they handle their shit. If they put it in a proper place, there wouldn't be these problems. There wouldn't be infants ingesting drugs. How many infants do you see in the hospital who are crawling on the floor and getting overdosed on drugs that their parents are cooking in their house, because the fumes are all over their house and it's all over their toys, all over their clothes, and these kids are dying from this? Like, that is a bigger thing. Why don't we worry about that and not weed? Like, weed is easily to be stored someplace and not to have an issue. There's other drugs that leave
Also-
minuscule traces of it that can kill an infant. Like,
Yeah.
Also, like, infants can die if they ingest. Sorry.
CTV speaking.
That's COVID. Everyone get away.
Okay, is everybody ready now? Now, geek. You said something about America. I feel like an American needs to reply to that, okay?
Yeah.
That's the matter. The reason why there's world peace is because everybody knows that once the Americans got the bomb, we dropped that motherfucker. All right? Right?
we went big or go home.
Touche, sir.
World peace, baby. World fucking peace. Right? Anyway, back to the room.
I wanted to say one thing that I never really got to say about why there's more institutional adversity to marijuana legislation than anything like lobbying or otherwise. Another great example of this is that in Obama's era, there was a thing called the Cole Memorandum, where I think it was the U.S. Attorney General Cole, I think that's who it was. He issued a memorandum to all the U.S. attorneys across all states saying, don't try to persecute marijuana offenses and like leave off that, like be easier on it, and tell everybody in your state to be a lot easier on it. And in 2018, who do you think removed that or revised that and actually communicated to all those same U.S. attorney generals to go back and keep being heavy and keep persecuting them?
Who was
Jeff
it?
Sessions.
Who?
Jeff Sessions.
What?
There's a
Oh, that little
yeah.
rascal. Oh,
Oh,
little
Uncle Jeff.
squirrely elf. Oh my goodness.
So
Jesus.
Montreal, you said let the states handle it, and
Okay.
I know I could let that go, but like I can't, because I feel like when we talk about individual localities, some places have it legal, like, and some places don't. I don't. Why is that a thing? Why are there places on the planet where these things are legalized and their societies work in a more coherent, tangent way? And when you make all these things illegal, but then you you got Four Locos sitting on the shelves, but I can't smoke a joint, and you see the type of chaos that we end up going through, like, why would I leave that up to the people when the people led us to needing to ask the government for it?
Like, don't people vote in people like in order to enact laws on their behalf, and the laws may
I feel like
people elected
Hold on.
people elected officials in
on.
their state that would push this agenda, of course.
hold on. I feel like
Or,
there's
like,
some
national-
I feel like there's some framing that's needed here, because I don't think y'all know what the fuck you're talking about at this moment, right? Okay, so paradigm shift. It's illegal federally by the Controlled Substance Act, right? That's why marijuana is specifically illegal now. Now, when they were talking about kicking it back to the states, what we have is states passing legislation that inside their state that there was not going to be an enforcement of federal law, essentially, right? So why it needs to become legal, right, at the federal level is so that it actually does open up the possibility for states to make their own decision about this thing. And frankly, because nobody's mentioned it thus far, last time we wanted to make a substance illegal, it took a constitutional amendment because it was understood that this issue goes to the states via the 10th Amendment to begin with, right? So what we have is a circumvention, right, of the federal system, because the Controlled Substance Act was passed without there being a constitutional amendment in order for this thing to be illegal. So right there is the unconstitutionality of it from the start. And then the reason why that it needs to be kicked back to the states is so that each state can make their own decision about it. And if they want to continue the bad things that we've already seen, then that society is what can, right? While the other ones are like, fuck you. You know what I mean? At least then
here's the thing,
it's not a
too.
federal thing.
Wait, real quick,
I think
real
it's
quick,
also pretty
real quick. I just want
unconstitutional to have.
Go ahead.
real quick. I just want to say one thing, and after that, Rhyzohm. Congratulations, CTV. You hold for longer than I thought. You held for longer than I thought without like giving your take on this topic. So congratulations, Rhyzohm. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Very true.
Proud of you,
actually.
buddy. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I think that it's also pretty unconstitutional to have 40% of our black population in prison for nonviolent offenses due to drug crimes. So I don't really give a fuck if states don't get a chance to decide while they're still locking people up at those kinds of rates.
Right, but I mean, giving the
So
state.
one thing that I think is really interesting to talk about is that in terms of like legislative stuff and like the Supreme Court, there are two cases that tried to handle the different like state and federal interaction. There's like United States versus Oakland Cannabis Buyers Cooperative, where they found that federal and the stuff that was happening at the state level interfered with the federal anti-drug laws, and that the federal anti-drugs laws superseded that. And there's also Gonzalez versus Reich, which found more or less the same thing, that there is like a federal anti-drug law that supersedes all the other stuff. So up until like 2014, when they had the Rohrabacher Farr Amendment or something, that they were basically like, if you could exist but if you were visible, then they would probably come down on you and fuck you. So it does seem like everything that like I'm not American, so I can't really say with absolute certainty, but it does seem like CTV is right that you do need it to be legalized at the federal level, and that after that it's allowed, states can then decide, well, we don't actually want to allow it. And
No, but I think, I mean, CTV, with your premise, wouldn't it be that giving that kind of power to the federal level is what fucked everyone in the first place, right?
Yes.
They should have left it the fuck alone. So the states can just do their thing.
So right now we're going to go into
that was capitalism. Sorry.
yeah. No, I feel like the energy in the room has kind of got us down to a smolder, right? So let's start into closing statements here. We're going to start in the bottom with paradigm shift and work our way around the room pretty quick because we do have a third topic that we got to get to. All right.
Closing argument. I didn't really get any evidence on why, like, moderate Democrats, and it's just Democrats. I believe that Republicans are at the front of holding this back. Like, we talk about, our mansions and our cinemas, but like, there's still like a whole other aisle that like just don't like people. They would never give that power to the people, even though they vote for a smaller government. I think a lot of the way that we think about things are stupid. Every time there's a positive, we're just like, how much money is it going to cost? How is it? It's like, yo, figure that like money is fake. And like, please free my people. Like, I want to go home and listen to Drake in the car. Okay, that's my thing.
Roadman.
Yeah, so my closing statement, basically, again, I'm going to go with the point that the pharmaceutical industries, alcohol lobbies, and the police unions are the reason that weed is still legal. Me personally, I don't think weed should be legal. I think people who smoke weed are lazy. I think you need to live your life by the caveman mentality. Stop putting things in your body. Also, I would be willing to say if the legislative branch cannot get weed legal, maybe we should do like a ballot question on the ballot of a federal level. And if the entire population of America wants to legalize it through that vote, I'm all for it.
We don't have direct, never mind.
Rhyzohm.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, it sounds like the opposers think that weed ruins lives. They've failed to show in any meaningful capacity that it does this more than other legal substances and activities, especially daily ones that are essential to the infrastructure of our economy. They've claimed that it's about freedom, while drug offenses are used to limit the freedoms of everyone who is arrested for it, potentially for their entire lives. No one refuted the claim that a harm reduction policy is better than a punitive policy. So, yeah. Legalize drugs.
I got to put out that the streamer known as Carter, right, is now officially endorsing CTV. Haha.
That's a good endorsement.
It is. It is. Geek, go ahead.
All right. To start, I wanted to address that when you raised the point, Rob, but correlation isn't causation. So I agree with you that the lobby played a part, but I don't think that's the main cause. I think that Brys raised the point that there's a whole history with this, linked with a bunch of other shit. So yeah, that's one of the things. Also, if you wanted to say that, like, again, on the same theme of correlation isn't causation, if you wanted to show that laziness, like that marijuana caused laziness, which caused unemployment, you would have to show like when marijuana was legalized and the rate of employment like raising, like see the number of consumers basically and see like if it correlates with unemployment rate. After that, reason to not legalize state by state. I raised a point about criminality earlier. I just wanted to go back on this because I don't think I was really clear. When they researched basically the state where it was legal, they realized that the producer, like the weed produced, only a small amount would go to legit business. Most of it would be like either robbed or like resold like to other state where it wasn't legal, which raised the criminality. So that's also a point. And yeah, I think Maddie made a great point with the federal bank and shit, which caused a bunch of problems. On top of that, it's super hard to get a license and everything. Apparently, there's a story of like bidding and stuff like that. I don't know much. I don't want to talk about that, but yeah, that's my point.
Montreal player.
Federal control has been used to give pharmaceutical industries and political, people the tools to suppress their political opponents in inconvenient populations. Yep. No, I didn't have time to write down what I said, and I just totally blanked out. All right. That's it. That's it. That's my argument. There you
go. Matty Cakes.
Yeah, it's dumb that weed is illegal when you consider all of the other fun substances and things like caffeine, like alcohol, like sugar, like things that have a net negative impact on your life long term. And yet we still partake because turns out we're human beings who often seek refuge from the toil of day-to-day life. It is perfectly normal. And people who smoke weed are not all just lazy. In fact, research shows that there is no actual change in terms of the amount of percentage people who like smoke weed and the percentage of those who are unemployed or somehow not contributing to society. It's pretty fucking common. So make some new friends that like smoke weed and don't complain all the time. Like it'll make your life a lot easier. It'll benefit you. Your horizons will be expanded, and you'll just have a good time. Maybe you'll chill out a bit.
KayBuckOph.
Again, I'm going to say I think it needs to be state regulated, not federally regulated. I think the state needs to be in determination of if they are going to allow it or not within their state. I think there are issues that affect each state differently on why they should and shouldn't have it. But I believe that it should be legal in most states. There's no reason that it shouldn't be. It is a lot safer, as Matty Cakes has just said, on basically any other drug that we put into our body. So.
And last but not least, of course, is Brys.
Awesome. Thank you. So I think we got a problem here. Himbos are being recruited to argue for things that they don't fully understand or know about, as we've seen with Monty and Roadman. I think that there are institutional problems that are against marijuana legalization, and I think it exists above party lines. I think that we also need to legalize it for research purposes and for the simple fact that we saw what happened in Prohibition, and we saw that there was a moral panic advertised, and we saw that it was kind of bullshit, and we can generate a lot of tax money from this that can pay for a lot of great things.
So from here, the last thing I'll say is that marijuana is in fact a part of the natural flora of the planet. It doesn't have to be processed at all to be able to use it, okay? Now, moving on from that, we have the third topic of the night. It is my understanding that we have two more guests. They're going to be entering the arena. Entering first with... Wait, where's he at? Is he there? Is he there? Hold on.
Yeah.
Where they at? Where they at?
His camera isn't on, but he's there. Freems is here.
I get it.
Oh, wait. No, I was waiting for the other guy.
While you're looking for your guest, I just wanted to say, if you're here, if you see this wonderful panel, it's because Danabo sent the invite. You know, he's doing a wonderful work behind the scene, booking for this show and the main show. And also, he started recently a YouTube channel with clips of like political streamers and stuff like that, called Top Chim Clips. Go check it out. The link should be in my chat, and I think it's in the group also. So yeah, go check it out, and also go follow all of our wonderful guests. And thank you all for being here.
And there's been links being dropped in the chat, so click on those links, follow these people. Yeah, I thought we were going to have Nacho in first, but Freems is here.
Hey, what's up?
It's fucking Freems showing up in some motherfucking Philadelphia chicken outfits. I don't know what the fuck that. What did you lose a bet? Like what the fuck happened?
We lost we got our ass kicked today by Tampa Bay. So.
Oh wow, Florida laying that smackdown. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you go up against Florida, man. Frames, hello everybody. Welcome to the panel. Apparently, we're going to be talking about something that is going to be near and dear to Frames' heart, right?
Yeah, until it kills it.
Nice. Nice. I don't know if Nacho's going to be showing up or not. Danabo, no idea. Anyway, so we're going to get into the topic here. The third topic of the night. The great steak debate. Rare, medium, medium well, or well done. And we do, in fact, have a image here as a reference. So if you will, please click on the watch stream for a moment so you can see the picture. And we're going to make it big for the audience here. There you go. Everybody see that? Outstanding. So we know what we're talking about here. Rare, medium well, and well done. Outstanding. This is going to be the topic that is going to blow everyone's minds as they hear you argue about it tonight. Let your stances be known in your opening statements. We're going to go around the room and start off with Paradigm Shift.
Yo, okay. Like, this is unfair. But, like, if you not having your steak medium rare, like, just don't make it. Like, I don't understand. It's like, y'all, I've been on dates with people who, and it's like, you know that they, like, we're going to Applebee's. It's not going to be good anyway. Like, don't do this to yourself. Like, don't do this to yourself. You go to Outback Steakhouse, what are you doing? Why would you want, like, meat so toughly? Like, you gotta, like, your teeth hurt. Come on. I think, yeah, you just, there's only one option. Sorry, there's only one. We're going with medium rare.
And next, we're going to throw it over to Roadman. Roadman, please don't just be whining on the mic. Nobody wants to hear nobody whining on the mic.
This isn't whining. This is expert opinion. I own food trucks. I cook steak every day. If you're not making your steak rare, you are a garbage human being. Brys, I know you eat your steak well. Anyways, all I do is cook steak all day. All you stoners on the chat, you guys don't know what food tastes like. You guys probably eat wheat thins and vanilla ice cream and act like it's God's gift to the earth. Again, rare is the way to go. That's how you taste the meat. That way you don't have to put a bunch of seasoning on it. You actually get the taste of the flavor of the meat. I don't want to hear any other arguments.
Rhyzohm, take it away.
Medium.
Okay, well, I'm actually vegan, so this is hilarious. But I'm gonna give the most base take. And my bad, sorry, my text to speech. Anyways, so I'm gonna give the best argument possible. This is the objectively best argument for all you meat eaters. First of all, you got to go with the most caveman temperature of all, which is blue. You're not a real carnivore unless you eat blue. For 3 reasons. You got freshness. It's the most natural. So Roadman, I don't know what you're talking about with your rarity. Cavemen didn't have fire until they invented it, bro. So the most natural is obviously blue. And why would you guys want to add seasoning to your steak to cover up the flavor of that flesh? Are you guys pussies? You need to cover up the flavor of that flesh. Or are you carnivores? So blue is objectively best.
I can't.
Mr. Geek.
Straight off the kill. I like it.
Goddamn. First of all, my original take was medium rare, but if it wasn't medium rare, I would have been convinced by Paradigm. But Rhyzohm made some good arguments too. Goddamn. No, I'm sticking with medium rare. If you have to cook your meat rare just to feel the taste of it, there's something wrong with your meat.
Montreal player.
Yeah, I know I'm supposed to say medium rare. That's what's trendy. But honestly, over the years, I like medium. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, I just like it better. And yeah, I do like seasoning. I like putting seasoning on the steak and letting it sit for days sometimes. And then that's it. And I cook it in medium, and I feel like it's I don't know. You taste a lot, and it's soft. It's soft. I don't need no friggin' meat shit. I have kids, man. They don't like when things are too tough or too yucky. Okay, so I got to get used to something. All right, it's got to be a little more well cooked, and I got used to it. I get used to it because of the kids. All right, I like medium.
Cakes.
Oh man, well, I'm just a simple coastal elite snob, and I gotta say, like, of all the options, if I had to do like a steak, it would definitely be medium rare because like it's the correct answer. But also, listen, I'm a sucker for some like beef tartare. Like, why not? You know, have a nice fresh cut right there in a fancy little bowl, all arranged, maybe with some accoutrements, maybe with a little bit of a little bit of seasoning, some screen things sprinkled, so that you can take a picture of it and not eat it, but put it on Instagram because it looks nice. Yeah,
Perhaps in
I'm a
tapas
fan of
form.
that.
So gross.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking disgusting.
Oh, so good.
Oh, I just got sick to my stomach. Sorry, none of this was
Savor it.
Fuck.
Yeah.
So gross.
Yeah. Yeah. No, also but like don't do that if you don't want your bowels to like be in pain. Because
There's
that's
a
what
reason
happens.
for that. Your body being
It's
like,
rare.
get this poison out of me. God, that's fucking gross.
Yeah.
KayBuckOph. Take it away.
So I'm probably gonna judge for saying this, but when I was younger, my mom hated anything that was red inside. So we ate it like all the fucking way cooked. It was tough as it possibly could be. And as I got older, I realized that it doesn't need to be that cooked. So I started going like medium well. Now I'm more on like a medium level. So I'm sure it's gonna change more as I get older, but from a very young age, all I was able to eat was fully cooked. But I
Brys.
prefer medium now.
Medium.
All right,
There you go.
I gotta say, I love meat, and in every savory, juicy, medium rare bite, being reminded of the adorable cow that is now in my belly, sustaining my body and my brain, and in my vast experience of tasting things that Roadman and his wife dream about tasting someday, once in their lifetime, I do confirm that I think medium rare or rare is the way to go, because it's also like science, dude.
And last, but certainly not least, Twitch politics local and yet somehow international food expert. Freems TV has graced us with his presence. Freems, give us your take on the great steak debate.
You have to bear with me because I'm still a little nauseous after Maddie talking about her beef tartare. If you don't know what that is, Google it, and you're gonna be like, "What the fuck? Why would anyone eat that?" Also, sometimes they make it out of horse. I hope you know that. Sometimes your beef tartare is horse. It's fucking disgusting, and the reason why it's hard on your bowels is because humans aren't supposed to fucking eat that. Now, let me say, if you said medium rare or rare, I would even accept blue. You're on the good end. When Monty was saying medium, I don't even believe he believed it as he was saying it. Like it sounded like someone like trying to explain to someone why they're with their like shitty partner. Like they know that their partner is shitty and they're explaining to you why they stay with them. As far as K goes, I get it. You grew up with it. It happens. Hopefully you can eventually like expand away from that. Now Rhyzohm, I'm talking about like you should be eating it without seasoning. I know if you're vegan, your ass is putting seasoning on everything, or everything would just taste like nothing. All right, so chill with
Exactly.
that.
I'm not the caveman over here. I'm not succumbing to my primal instincts, right? You guys got to be enjoying all that blood.
Wow,
and flesh,
wow, this was the opening. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I did kind of. It's my fault. Anyways, so if you pick anything above medium rare, you're probably going to hell because a beautiful creature that walked this earth had to die for you to have a subpar dinner. Okay, so just do better. Okay, that's the only thing I can say to Twitch politics. Just do better.
All right. So now that the stage is set, if you are for fully cooked meat, raise your hand.
Fully
No.
cooked meat.
Yeah. Fully. That
Yeah,
would
what
be
do you mean
well.
fully? Like well done?
Okay. So that'd be well
Yeah, well
done.
done.
If you're for well done, right? Raise your hand. No
You
one.
better fucking not. I'll block you. I'll fucking
If
block
you are in support of fully rare, right? Raise your hand. Ooh,
Bleeding.
we got 3 for fully rare. So what it sounds like here, folks, is we have a battle of cautiousness as to whether or not meat should be cooked. That's what it sounds like to me here. So understand that we have 3 opinions in the room that are for fully rare, and the other opinions of the room are for some type of cooking. I expect to hear their voices more, so make sure you take turns getting it in. From here, the floor is open. If you hear my voice, shut the fuck up.
Nah, I'm taking low hanging fruit, bro. I'm not even gonna play around. Let's really get into. Okay, so why, what made you depart from meat? When did you decide to depart from the meat travels in your daily existence?
Oh, you want to talk about actual vegan memes? Sure, we can do that. Basically, I had watched Dominion, which is free on YouTube. And I was walking to Burger King with a friend of mine, and he told me a story about a dog that was tortured by his owner and left for dead, but the dog didn't die, and it came back, and he was paralyzed from the neck down, had to be put down. And I was basically like heartbroken, but I was walking over to Burger King, and I was like, how the fuck do those 2 things comport? Why one but not the other? And I never asked for my life. So I don't understand why I would be okay taking away the life of something that has the ability to recognize its own existence. So those are the vegan memes. But my meat argument is you guys are just ruining the purity if you cook it in any kind of fashion. And if you love meat, you should love the purity of the meat, right?
No. Sorry, no, that's not how it works. You might like something like mixed with something else. Like it's not like
I love it. I just don't love it. You know.
So you don't really like the meat, but you just kind of like
You're
killing
right.
animals.
We're in an
eating them,
open
huh?
relationship.
Okay, do you really like ketchup?
I just feel like I have the most qualified opinion in this panel. Again, I bought my house, I bought my robe, I bought this sailboat, all by cooking steak every day. Rare is the answer. There's no other answer. Like Freedom's just saying, you get the best flavor from the meat. If you're putting seasoning on your meat, you're cooking it wrong. You want to have that nice blood taste to it. You know, you want to taste what the cow went through in his whole life.
Well, it's not even
Exactly.
actually.
Oh, good.
That's actually a misconception. That's not blood that you're eating. That's myoglobin.
Yeah, it's not.
It's actually just protein.
The blood's already been drained, like from
Yeah,
animals.
it's not actually blood, but
It's just protein.
Otherwise,
I
it
want
would
to
rot.
taste its fear and anxiety from the factory farm.
You
also,
guys should want
blue-
all the secretions. You guys
also,
should
a
want
blue
all of
steak-
those secretions.
a blue steak is still cooked.
At this point.
You guys know that. It's like seared on either side, and it's delicious. Actually, blue steak is really
Okay.
good. I would recommend
Then
it.
I just meant fresh off the animal. Like you hawk it
Yeah.
off and, you know.
I mean, maybe. I don't. There's probably like some bacteria issues there, though. I would imagine, or I would it probably would taste fine. Actually, like raw
Fuck it,
meat.
that bacteria is
tastes more
part of the
like
meat.
Just take it down,
yeah,
cut
that's
through
really
the
good.
tableau. That's what you're getting.
A good fresh deer steak right after a round ticket.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got
I
a
just
freezer
bite
full of deer right now.
Oh,
I just
I could
bite
go
the
for some
deer.
venison right now.
Just bite right through the deer skin.
I just, yeah. If I'm hunting, yeah. Oh, you go bow hunting, lame with a gun. I go straight for the jugular with my teeth.
Yeah,
That's because I have a great dental plan and I put it to use. Okay.
You
Yeah.
sharpen
America.
those puppies.
Hell yeah. I
It's-
file it.
That's what you have to do. You have to get into peak physical condition, okay? Jump out there and take down this deer, okay? And just to make it supernatural, okay, you have to do it naked, okay? You have to do the entire thing naked. It's just you, 2 wild animals, okay, out there, okay, 1-on-1, mono a animal, and you take it
It's
down,
worth it.
Maddie. That's amazing.
And listen, I've lost multiple toes to hypothermia, but damn, was it worth it? Because I was just jumping around naked in the woods, hunting deer with my teeth. Like, of course, because I care about where my meat comes from, and nothing's worth eating if you can't kill it yourself with your own mouth.
Obviously, I'm in peak
Is what I
physical
say.
condition. I am the peak male. So that's go capture my
True.
deer. I got
True.
You're like the kingpin. It's all muscle.
yeah, it's just all muscle.
That's right.
Yeah.
Why does
That's
killing
right.
lesser beings make you a bigger person?
Hey, how
No,
about
it
this?
doesn't.
Here's my
You're
thing. Here's
asserting
my thing.
yourself in
Here's my
animal
thing.
kingdom,
Oh, like
right?
it big time does
Starting
not.
at the top of the
Yeah.
pyramid, you gotta get
middle
down.
of the road.
I gotta. If this is going to
I
vegan,
feel
okay,
like-
I have a
feel-
problem.
frames-
Oh, go ahead.
frames-
Sorry, Stevie, go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. I feel like the answer there to your question, Rhyzohm, or Rhizome, right,
Yeah.
is what makes you a bigger person for eating the thing, right? Is because it has calories, right? And the more you consume, the bigger it makes you, right? Like it's just
Very
simple.
true. I
Yeah,
I
it's
was
just-
totally not thinking there. You're right. Basic
Yeah,
math.
yeah. Get basic stuff, basic.
You got
Frames,
me. You
go ahead, buddy.
owned.
All right, so I actually have an issue when like people moralize veganism in this way because like I live in a food desert. Touring News actually came and visit me, and he was surprised at how many hours you had to go before you passed a grocery store. So whenever people hear people be like, "Oh, you should eat meat," and that's like literally all they can get. I know people who survive off of what they hunt, and you start talking down to them like they're a lesser person when they're literally just an example of the circumstances that they're in.
Yeah, I
I'm not
agree with
saying
that.
that's
I
what
agree
you
with
meant
that.
to- Yeah, okay, good deal, good deal.
No, I agree with you that there's people out there who don't understand the circumstance that others are in and whether or not they have access to those things, right? They'll just be like, dude, just go reach for the soy. Not only that, but people don't have the imagination to necessarily actually cook vegan and like live a healthy life. So I am well aware of that. I think it's just within most people right now who are listening to this conversation, though, I would bet are in a situation where they could just reach for the soy. And that was what it was for me. So I just lived my principles. That was all.
Well, in some sense, I mean, you'd be surprised how like more places have internet access, which is still limited in America, more than it should be, have easier access to internet than food. It's like
Oh, absolutely.
a weird country that we live in that aspect. But also, like me, for example, I hunt every year, and I usually get my tag limit, and then I donate 2/3 of what I hunt to food banks to take wild game.
Yeah, for me, Freems, it was a personal thing. Like I looked at myself, I was like, I don't think I could feel okay taking the life of something else. So I didn't want to pay someone to do it for me by proxy. And that was a personal decision, right? You go out, you hunt, you kill your shit. You know what it's like to take that life. You probably have respect for that practice. I don't think you just feel like you're shitting all over nature when you do that. So I wouldn't really come after you and be like, dude, you're so like, what's wrong with you? You've thought about this position. I think there's a lot of people out there who live in society who haven't rationalized it in this way and recognize that they care more about a dog than the thing that's been feeding them their whole lives. And
For
those
sure.
both have the equal capacity to suffer, right?
I've watched enough of your content to realize that you got that, but I feel like it was important to get that out there as
For
well.
sure. For everybody. I agree. I
Because
agree.
ultimately, sorry, I feel like I'm like hogging up the space here. Like when it comes down to like moral arguments, there isn't a lot of good moral arguments against veganism. Even though I'm not a vegan, I can admit that it's like hard to debate. Unless like the debate is I just don't care, and then that's fine, I guess. But
Yeah.
Well, I
I'm
already
in the same
defeated that
position. I
argument,
don't care.
actually. Yeah,
So
Freeman.
I sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I already defeated that argument, right? It comes down to one very simple question: who's going to eat the deer?
yeah, I mean that's also true. I live in like one of the most populated deer counties in West Virginia. If you didn't hunt them, it would become a problem. But it's a problem that we initially created too, as well, by getting rid of predators. But
That's
it's
right.
like that's still the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one thing I also think we need to talk about, like the medium rare versus rare conversation. The reason I prefer medium rare to rare is that when the steak gets hot enough, when you're cooking it medium rare, that's like ample time to allow the fat in that steak to marble, like to fully marble and be absorbed into the meat so that you get that flavorful, like in every cut, a bite has so much flavor because the flavor comes from the fat. And I've found that when I've had steaks that are like more rare, you miss that. It doesn't quite have the same marbling. Obviously, it's going to depend on the cut of steak. But for me, at least, especially if I'm just ordering it at a restaurant, like if I want to have the highest chance of it being a really juicy, like flavorful steak, it's always medium rare.
Yeah, but if you cook it for too long, and then here's the thing, Roadman might actually agree with me on this. I'm curious to see what he has to say. Most of the time, when people think they like medium rare, they actually like rare, and they don't.
I agree.
realize- Yeah, they because like if I've seen so many people order medium rare and it be medium rare, and then they get it and be like, this is well, or this is not well done, but medium. Like no.
The most popular order that I get when I make steak is medium rare, and these guys don't realize I am cooking it more towards the rare side. And I do agree with you, where most people think medium rare is more towards the rare side.
I don't know, like my cousin who lives in Austin was an executive chef at like a big steakhouse there for a long time. And I just remember talking to him about this stuff because I'm like, you guys have to cook so many steaks every single night because you have, you need to turn tables, have customers coming out. And he pretty much says, like, I don't know, a lot of times what he'll do, because the steak, even when you take it off the grill, off the skillet, it'll continue cooking and like raising in temperature. So I will say that a lot of times, even when someone orders medium rare, what they do is they cook it to rare and then plate it or something, because in that time it's still continuing. You have to let the meat rest usually for a little bit, but in that time, like it's still continuing to, I don't know, like progress or cook, so that when it hits the table, it's medium rare.
Well,
But
that
also
also
rare.
Okay, Maddie, what you're trying to describe there is like, once you get molecules moving, right? Then they have to, like once it's the same thing like when, like if you put hot water in your freezer, right, to freeze it, it's going to freeze faster than if you put cold water into it, because once you get the molecules moving towards a direction, they continue that until they end up stopping in the course and by way of the freezer. So once you get the molecules of the meat moving and heated, they're going to continue that movement, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I totally went nerded out. Sorry, y'all. Sorry.
For sure, but the big difference
You
is
mean there's a cooking entropy, basically? Is that
when
it?
you're talking about cooking the fat and it becoming juicy. If you cook it too hot, too fast, or for too long, all that's going to evaporate out of it. Even if it continues to cook after it's off the pan or whatever, off the grill, it's the temperature is cooling down. So it's not that
Okay,
that
I gotta ask. This is gonna put me out of my league, but like, how many people here actually cook their own steaks with the correct pan and like, that's half of us.
It depends.
Okay,
Sometimes
more than half.
because I use a cast iron sometimes, but I actually prefer my other just like skillet because it has a more even temperature across. I love my cast iron, but like it doesn't always heat super evenly.
I want to pose a question to the panel. What cut of meat? Go ahead.
It's now that time. This has been a great time, but we went so long. I know we went so long with the drug topic that this very riveting topic of meat, right?
That we're all obsessed with now.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
The people don't want to stop talking about meat. I understand, right? I understand, but I'm getting the words coming in right from the guys in the headset, and you know how that is, right?
You can just say Danabo.
all Danabos are bastards.
So we've got to end the show. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go for a round of shout outs, right? So you did the shout ins at the beginning, right? Freems actually missed out on that. So Freems is going to start us off with a shout in and out, and he's going to show you what a shout out looks like, right? So Freems is going to kick it off, and then we're going to go around the room. Outstanding. Show us the difference, Freems.
All right, real quick, because I already know what Roman was going to ask. I would say either strip steak or ribeye. But yeah, twitch.tv/Freems. I am a political streamer from West Virginia, but we also make a lot of degenerate jokes that I'm afraid to make here. But starts with C and ends with We usually make jokes about that a whole lot. So come check me out. Sometimes you'll find me strolling around, ending up on various panels, including CTVs. I've marveled people with my bullshit in the past and did not get voted out. So it felt pretty good. Overwhelmingly get voted out. Nice. But I did offer them all tossed out. So that might have had something to do with it.
That's hard to turn down.
If you're into politics and degeneracy, come check me out.
Nice. Bryce.
Yeah, sorry. It's just BYS. You can find me at brys.live. It just links to my Twitch account. Nothing weird, nothing crazy. Yeah, that's it.
Nice. And the stream's not ended after this, folks. So this is we're doing a segment here, right? KayBuckOph, go for it.
Check me out at KayBuckOph on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. Is that better for you instead of all of the things?
You can say
Yeah, that's
whatever you
about it.
like.
Yeah, well, you
Okay.
didn't like when I said all of the things. That's about it. I'm on CTVs whenever I feel like joining in. I've become an Argandy, so you probably won't see me for a little bit.
Nice. Nice. You see that? It's awkward now. Relish
just-
it,
you're just like-
Caitlin.
You're like,
Relish it.
nice.
Who made it awkward?
I did, because I can fucking do that. I got that power.
This was
right?
deliberate. That
I
was
don't care. I'll
deliberate.
sit here in silent going, nice. Nice. We can do
Matty
this.
Cakes, go for it.
Oh my god. Hi, I'm Maddie Cakes. You can find me on Twitch at MaddieCakes_, and you can find me on Twitter as Madsmaru, MadsMaru. And this was really fun. I'm glad that people have strong opinions on both the drug war and stakes. So it was good. It was fun to participate in.
Nice, nice. And yeah, look, I gotta say, look, Kay is great. She's a new conservative to the community. So make sure y'all are, definitely following her and
I'm
getting
all
involved in
Not that
conversation.
Maddie, though.
And
Not
all
that
the
Maddie.
things.
All the things.com.
We all
That
already know
Maddie.
Maddie. We know Maddie.
Bad
we
news.
know Matt.
Bad news.
Maddie's my birthday buddy.
We are birthday buddies, and we're really good at word games together. It scares me how much of the same wavelength we're on, because a lot of things I thought I knew about myself evaporate in that moment. So,
Montreal player.
Yeah, twitch.tv/Montreal player. Have chill chats. I'll probably invite some people on this panel to have chill chats at one point. And that's it. We'll hang out a bit. You might have seen me on CTV stream. Sometimes I make jokes. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
He's being humble, folks, right? He is the host of the Tuesday Night High Times podcast.
The High Times podcast is back January 25th.
woo!
There we go.
I'm excited.
There we go.
I've been wanting to
All right.
join. I've been really wanting to join. So
Nice.
let's get like super high.
Oh,
Mr. Geek, take it away.
Thank you all for being here. Twitch.tv/Danabo and also YouTube top Shim clips. Go check it out. It's going to come out every week, and yeah, you know the drill. If you want to be in it, join Danabo's Discord and everything. You get like a bunch of stuff. Some cloud here and there could be cool. But yeah, as for me, yeah, thank you for being here, and that's it.
Everybody, make sure you go follow Mr. Geek. He's being humble too. He's definitely one of Twitch's movers and shakers. Okay. Rhyzohm.
Yeah, I mean, kind of just like I said at the beginning, if you guys ever want to have a cozy philosophical and critical discussion based in memes and internet culture, then come over to my space. And yeah, you'll get a healthy dash of my degenerates that I have in my chat. So yeah, over at Rhyzohm Twitch, Rhyzohm YouTube, etc. Thanks for having me.
Nice. Always happy to have you. Robe Man.
You can find me at Robeman, Twitch TV/Robeman. Thanks for having me on the panel. I know I went hard a little bit at some people, but it's all love. I appreciate talking to you guys. Appreciate the arguments. CTV, thanks for having me on. You can catch me on CTV's Wednesday night panel. Marvel me with your bullshit, where you can hear me freestyle, spit some dope rhymes. Also, I'll be playing Halo with them on Thursday. So if you guys want to get schooled in Halo, you can hit me there. I play games with viewers on my Twitch. I'm always getting into politics. You can catch me on a bunch of different panels. Again, thanks for the opportunity.
Nice. ParadigmShift. We didn't see you Thursday night for Halo practice. I know. You knew it was happening. I told you, bro.
I'm
Wait, what?
muted. I thought you were just, I didn't know that was like fully started. My bad, Brody.
Yeah, bro. It's happening. We need you there. Anyway, ParadigmShift, who's going to be in the Wolf's Den Thursday night for Halo practice. So, ParadigmShift.
Life is different. Anyway. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed what I was able to bring to this panel. I heard a lot of very interesting things. A lot of things. Makes me think that, or just realize that people, there are a lot of people in this world, and we should take care of all of them. You can find me at twitch.tv/the_paradigm_shift. I really hate the underscores. We do poetry, politics, photography, things that start with P. I play a lot of games. I'm kind of like a big deal in a few of them. You should come check me out. FPS skills on top 100. Energy always at max. Die mad about your bad opinions. We shift paradigms here. I was also a former mayoral candidate for New York City, so yeah, like I'm out there. Yay.
Nice. So I want to take this opportunity to thank each and every single one of the people that have showed up here tonight to participate in this debate. You are all vying for an opportunity to possibly appear on the Hippy Dippy main show that happens on Friday nights. So we want to say thank you to everyone, and CTV out.